And we're here. Okay. Good evening, gentlemen, friends. We are back with The Wrong Side of the Wall, Season 3, One Last March. Tonight, Siege of a Stronghold. Session 3. So after tonight, we will be halfway through Season 3. It's incredible to think we're already here. And it seems like we just started the new year, like, yesterday. So Richard has very graciously pre-recorded his recap for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, and I'll see you on the other side.
Last time, on the wrong side of the wall, one last march. Upon leaving the cave in which they found their new bewitched rock companion, the party sees a pillar of smoke coming from their camp. With no chain of command left to follow, they realize that the work is yet unfinished, and they still must locate an orc camp and see if it can be reported to another camp elsewhere. Because orders are orders. As they travel, memories of the past surface for each man, where they had each encountered seers that delivered vague prophecies of the future. A key word defines each. For Lionel, it is his trusty companion.
I found it kind of funny that this animal had come to my doorstep to lick its wounds right when I was in the middle of licking mine. I took him in and nursed him back to health, and he's been with me since.
Extraordinary the bond between man and beast is.
For many, it is but a deadly adversary.
And he spoke words of terror over him, of ruin, that this boy held in his hands the doom of many, and that many would fall, and many would die. And so the boy was named, and so the boy was cast out.
For Rian, he is defined by game.
And it was never easy being branded a thief. Godvin was the man who gave you your life, and this is why you have no choice but to follow him.
And for Godvin, he is haunted by loss.
The cost was everything the family had, and the man came to our house and made a great effort. Watching a man tear the yarn of our reality apart and sew it together before my very eyes. His condition remained. My poor mother and sisters grew weary and sick from what they called my foolish attempts at fixing our household. But they had already made their choice to rid the house of me, and the day after I was given the boot. God chose to heal my father through my absence. When I rid the world of these damned witches and sorcerers, I can make my way home.
And one by one, they are brought to remember key, important moments in their past. In needing to pass through the wetlands, through a thick, disgusting, and odorous swamp, they encounter a pack of 6 human men dressed in the flora of their home. These wetlanders do not dare to attack our party, as we manage to parley using our might and wits to ensure safe passage. But we cannot stray from the shallows, they say, else we may come across something truly dangerous. And in due time, we discover what that means. 2 massive crocodile creatures lunge for Godvin and his men, but are swiftly taken down. No doubt a small taste of the agony that may yet lie ahead. Rick, the man of stone, deals the finishing blow by caving the skull of one of the gigantic reptiles, showing his incredible strength and willingness to fight and survive in this land unknown to him. Eventually, upon reaching the edge of drier land, they discover what they were looking for all along. After crossing a perilous mountain range, lies the gates of the orc encampment. What lies inside the fortress ahead? Perhaps answers, perhaps danger. But all shall be revealed in due time. May God have mercy on these souls.
Fabulous. I just want to say, Richard, that was really good. Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
that a lot.
I like
Wait,
producing
isn't the
things.
narrator god though?
I I found the like the sentences you pulled from the remembrance scenes. Obviously, there was a lot more to them, but I felt like you really found kind of the heart of each. So
Yeah.
So-
That was
so-
some fancy editing.
yeah, so from a GM's perspective, I'm impressed also that you kind of, I agree with you, like you kind of found the key sentence in each one. So that was really cool. Also, interesting fact, just to digress for one moment, the last time you did a recap back in Walk the Waste, the session that you recapped in particular was the one where everyone had gone to the little robot and revealed what they wanted from the broker, and you actually did the same idea. You pulled sentences
absolutely.
out. So it's interesting that both of your recaps, the last two recaps, have been a similar structure.
I
So-
like that kind of style because it lets us showcase who the person
Yeah.
is outside of the episode and give context
Yeah.
for any new viewers. It's
Yeah.
just a good idea. But thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. But why did the broker make things and the broker. So, yeah, so with that, we now come, of course, to the top of session 3. And actually, we are going to have our first scene within a. Well, actually, from the player's perspective, of course, you have no idea where we are. But as the camera pans in, we are in a deep cavernous area. So, obviously, it looks like a deep cave, but there's a purposeful construction to the area. The area has obviously been carved. There's carved tunnels as opposed to natural tunnels that have come from, water wear. There's markings on the walls, and people have carved out scenes of battle and history and whatever. There's banners placed around the area. This is a mountain for sure, a cavernous land for sure, but there is a very purposeful construction here. And in the center of this room, on a, let's be honest, kind of an uncomfortable looking throne, but maybe he finds it super comfortable, is the mighty Bront, Orc Chief. As we zoom out a little bit from where he is sitting, his second in command, Azig, walks in, and as soon as he is within about 8 feet of the sort of carved stone throne, he drops to one knee and bows his head low. Chieftain, I bring news.
What news do you bring, Grant?
It's Azig, my lord.
Call yourself what you like. You are a grunt to me. Does Grunt have problem?
No, sir, no problem. We'll report,
Good.
sir.
Good. Grunt not die today.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir. My lord, we have found a human camp. Over a day away. It is strange for the humans to be out this far. They bear the markings of Arnvel. They did. My lord, the camp is destroyed. We have found almost 2,000 corpses. No survivors, sir, not even amongst the animals.
Grunt sure about this?
Positive, my lord. The supplies were either burnt or missing. The animals are either slain or have fled into the mountains. Following them would be meaningless. Most of them were frail horses, not good meat. But the men are dead. This is for sure. The strange thing is, my lord, I am not sure exactly how they died. They bear no sword wounds, no arrow wounds, no axe wounds. They all seem to have been hit with something heavy or hard.
You have no idea what this is?
There is no evidence of a weapon like this, sir, and each of their injuries are slightly different. Some, their necks broken. Some, their faces caved in. Others, the rib cage collapsed. The injuries are not consistent, other than the fact that they all seem to have been hit with something hard and deadly.
Grunt must consider what to do next.
Of course, my lord.
Is Zulu ready to leave?
Zulu. She takes many preparations, my lord. She has informed me that she will be ready within the hour.
Is she heading to a tower in Arnvel?
Yes, my lord. That is what she has told me. We have an escort ready to bring her there. After all, she will have to travel through or near humans. Are you sure this is a wise idea?
Not trust humans.
My lord Bront is wise in this, but nevertheless, Zulu has insisted that this is necessary. Like I said, we will be ready to depart within the hour, my lord.
All right, get ready to leave then.
Yes, yes. And Azing leaps back to his feet.
Just a minute, Grant. Before you leave, Grant, meat was tough. Get new cook.
Yes, my lord. Kill old cook, get new cook. Thy will be done. And he spins in place and leaves the cave. Poor cooks. Nathaniel Kiefer has nothing personal against cooks. This is purely a narrative choice, and anyways, any
They
similarity
keep
to-
dying, you'll run out of people wanting to be cooks.
That's right. All right. Thank you very much. Yay! And a session with Bob. Love it.
Wanting? No, you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, here's a puffy hat. Get to it."
No, get to it, exactly. So, why is the war everyone versus mages when it should be cooks versus everyone? We'll get a legal guy one day.
I don't know if it's cooks versus everyone, just cooks versus any character Bob plays.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
it can be said that depending on who cooks, it can be like magic based on what you eat.
it's true. Well, Dad couldn't have a Remington shotgun in this season because we're in medieval times, so I guess he decided.
So he had to have a
use his
target
new
for one
bed.
He has a double barrel slingshot.
What do you mean he couldn't have a Remington? Pretty sure if you check his character sheet.
Never mind. You're right. It's
He
right
just
here.
he just has a crossbow named Remington.
The man who invented gunpowder.
Actually, Remington is his horse that uses coconuts.
Oh, okay.
Whatever he's doing to those cooks.
Using
involves
coconuts
the
for
Remington.
what?
We don't talk about the coconuts.
You know, for getting around.
So,
Yeah,
how
primitive
many Camelot
horseshoes.
references can we get in today? The scene does that cool movie wipe transition as we move to our 5 or 6, if you count the fox, standing on a far hill. The group of you have ascended from the wetlands where we were in last session, and have come back onto the mountain. And after another hour or so of journeying, as I described last week, you now see the orc fortress in the distance. So there's two things I want to mention. The first I'll talk about is Rick's own attempts to heal. Of course, as we already know, both from facing the future and from this campaign, Rick can mend himself by using local stone in place of stone that he has lost. And the crocodiles that you guys faced took a nasty chunk out of one side of him. So he has replenished that. So Kirk, I've already let you know how much HP you can heal off stream. But one thing I wanted to mention to you is the sensation you get as you replace the rock you lost with the rock sort of around you. After all, you are on a mountainside. Not too hard to find rocks that work. If Rick was still a human with human biology, you would describe the sensation as indigestion. Not really serious, like, oh god, I have to throw up, but just like you had something spiciness repeating on you. Since Rick isn't like that, it's a very strange sensation indeed. And now, Kirk, of course, I'll let you decide whether Rick remembers what it feels like, 12 years ago or whatever. But I guess for Rick, it just feels unknown. Like it's really hard for you to put your finger on exactly what you're feeling, but there's just sort of like a weird tingling sensation. And it you get that kind of sensation when you get like rain passing through you. But it doesn't feel like anything you think you should be feeling. So you don't feel any worse. As soon as the rock's kind of in place and you kind of pat it down and all of that, and it melts with the rest of your form, you feel fine. But just as you're getting it in there, you're like, I don't know what that sensation is.
Yeah. No, I get what you're getting at.
Yeah. So. Of course, yeah, and I think Rick is probably too hard to read for anyone else to pick up on any kind of confusion he might have. I don't think anyone would notice on his face or anything like that. So.
Well, he does have a new multicolored patch where the wound was.
It's true. I meant more like facial expression. So, bad news, Rick. A giant eagle from the heavens that was sent directly by me has swept down and grabbed your crocodile. No, just kidding. Just don't do anything silly with it. I guess you can still carry around a crocodile. Oh no, Rick is allergic to this world's rocks. So, otherwise, the rest of the group is sort of shaking off the muck and, as best you can, the smell and grime of the wetlands. Considering that in the past 2 days, each of you have been showered with spider guts, crocodile guts, and like putrid swamp water, you probably all smell amazing. And I mean that in every sense of the word. But that's not really your concern right now. Your concern before you is the fortress. And the second thing I wanted to talk about was the fortress itself. So for those of you who know something about stonework or care about stonework, you can decide who you are. The fortress is actually kind of like a low-key marvel. It's carved straight out of a mountainside. And it's stonework, but it's like it's been made rounded, where everything else is jagged and edged. There's sort of a roundness to the fortress. You get the sense that you're only seeing sort of the top of it, almost like the top of a mushroom. So this area is sort of a large, wide oval, sort of like a mushroom top. And then there's a partially uncovered roof, and you can see that there's sort of very rudimentary battlements with little gaps carved around the one side that faces out. The other side of the fortress is literally the mountain. Like it's literally been carved out of a mountain face. So there's only sort of views from like sort of like 2/3, because the rest of it's literally just a jagged mountain. But someone's carved sort of rudimentary battlements in there. There's a flag of the orc tribe in question flying. And then you can see there's like little material things that have been pulled over this rooftop to provide little places for like rain shelters or whatever. And then the actual fortress itself has like a classic sort of like iron bar portcullis thing that obviously serves as its main entrance. But like I said, for those of you who has little Shumi here? Oh, I never let Nathaniel forget. But for those of you who care about stonework or would know anything about masonry or whatever, this is kind of a low-key marvel. The place looks very elegant, and it's smooth and rounded compared to the very rugged terrain you've been traipsing around for almost 2 days. And you come to 2 conclusions. Number 1, either these orcs are like the most gifted craftsmen ever, or they stole this fortress from someone else. Somebody else built this and the orcs moved in, either from conquest or from the original owners abandoning it. Whichever the case.
Are the orcs in this world known to be decent craftsmen?
No, the orcs in this world are marauders and sort of tribal groups that you know. And orcs aren't necessarily all bloodthirsty maniacs. They keep to themselves. They're insular. They're tribal, and they raid other settlements. Most of them are bandits or pirates, but there are some orcs who engage in honest business and trade and stuff like that. If you went to a really big metropolitan city, they would probably be in like a slum area, but you could probably find orcs who had like a merchant outfit or something like that.
But as a general rule, they don't
yeah.
have, great masons and stone carvers.
No.
Okay.
There's nothing like that. Not to any of your knowledge, anyways.
Understood.
All of you being associated with the army would see orcs definitely as tribal, primitive peoples who get by taking from others. So that is to say that orcs aren't necessarily dumb. It's just that they're primitive compared to, whatever.
Primitive people that get by from taking from others? Lionel looks over at Rian.
Huh.
Totally uncalled for.
You didn't say anything, just looked at him. So anyways, for those characters who would care about that, you can be like, okay, this was somebody else's fortress and the orcs moved in, or they took it, or whatever. Because you can see places where the orcs have made upgrades. I mentioned the rudimentary battlements. There was obviously no battlements on the top of this fortress before. The orcs have obviously taken big mallets to parts of the roof and knocked them out to create little windows for their archers to sit in. Obviously the fabric has been placed by them. The flag is theirs. That kind of stuff. But the fortress itself was obviously made by hands much steadier and more gifted than them. So,
Do we see any sentries on the wall?
So, So that would be the next point of discussion. Is that on this sort of rooftop, on this sort of partially uncovered rooftop, as far as you can tell, like I said, most of the roof is covered. They've stretched sort of fabric cloths over top to make sort of a rooftop. But you can make out there's at least 2 orcs walking back and forth amongst the battlements. They're not ready to shoot or anything, but you can see that they're sort of pacing around this sort of makeshift walkway near the battlements. Those of you with really keen eyes maybe spot that they got bows on their backs or whatever. In the valley below you, leading towards the fortress, there is about half a dozen orcs. Most of them are just sort of sitting around. One of them sharpening a weapon on a wheel. A couple of them are just chomping away at some gross-looking meat. Another guy's just sort of napping on the ground on an animal skin, and he's just sort of sunbathing or whatever. And then the other guy's kind of pacing around near the portcullis. So they're on guard, but none of them are being particularly studious about it. So, anyways, JK, I love your inch. I thank you forever. So that's the scenario, and I pass it over to you, gentlemen, and maybe more specifically, Godwin, obviously as the resident commander.
Well, that there is our goal.
A giant rock fortress.
That's right.
What exactly were the commander's orders?
Merely to provide intel. Speaking of providing intel, I think to provide intel, we may need some intel. And Godwin looks directly at Rian. Rian, be a dear and have a look-see to see whether it's safe to approach.
Well, I have a few questions before you kind of go and do stuff.
Okay.
Rian it was about to take off, but it has stopped and goes back to a relaxed pose, but frowns and crosses his arms at Rick before he continues.
Rick, what
So, why do you have issues with these orcs?
I have no issue. I have orders.
Yes.
And-
I would imagine none of us personally have any issues with these orcs. None of us have ever met them, I would imagine.
Do those orders still stand when your commander is dead?
We don't know for sure, Rick. We don't know for sure if our commander is dead.
Right. Godvin, didn't they just replace that cook after you gave him a lashing? Perhaps the new cook just got a little overzealous with the fire.
Precisely. Rick, you are making too many inferences.
Regardless, we are still soldiers. And even if our particular detachment is long gone, the army continues. And our orders stand.
Are we fighting the orcs then?
No. No fighting. Simply providing intel on what is going on inside this battlement. It's
The
quite
orcs
clear.
are opportunists. They tend to take advantage of supply lines, attempt to disrupt them, steal what they can. Difficulties for the army arise therefrom.
I mean, has the battalion had any contact with these orcs yet at all? Is there any reason why we can't just address them directly?
Well, I do not know the nature of the reason behind us needing the intel, but we need to simply provide a who, what, where, when of what is going on inside this battlement.
Well,
Good. Questions answered?
I have an idea.
I do believe if you were going to send me in, it might be easier to go in on better terms so that I can locate something a little more concrete and not get caught and immediately put under suspicion for going in alone. One single human.
I'm not asking you to necessarily enter the battlement, Rian.
I
Just
would.
to scout it out.
But if we don't have any quarrel with them, it is better to locate the intel by friendlier means. If I'm caught alone, that looks bad on me, and I will probably die. But if you are in there with me, and I got caught doing something else, we can talk a way out of it, and I won't necessarily die.
Unfortunately, Rian, the sad state of affairs is that Godvin himself doesn't know exactly what kind of contact we've had with these orcs.
Godvin puts his hand on
already sent a
and this is why we ask them.
Godvin puts his hand on Rian's shoulders, Rian, and gets very close. Rian, I would love for you to do this for me and ask very little questions.
The stone man is raising his hand.
Ah, Rick.
Okay, well, I don't get the whole orc thing, but what if I could cause a distraction?
We could use him as a bargaining chip as well.
No. Rick is far too valuable as
No,
exactly where he is.
I had this really stupid idea, and it might just work.
I would like to hear the stone man's idea.
Yes, I'd appreciate your input, Rick.
Okay, well, I've been carrying this crock as a hat. I figured if I get on all fours with the rock on my back, I could go up to the castle pretending to be this giant croc that's going to eat them all. And then when they kill the croc, I'll just lay down like a pile of rocks.
Godvin nods. Rick, you're far too valuable with us.
That subterfuge would be subterfutile.
Okay, I can.
Your crocodile is leaking vital fluids.
Well, I
It's
could
not a
just throw
very
the.
convincing, lively crocodile.
I don't know. Maybe it's a zombie croc. They haven't seen zombie crocs before.
What is a zombie?
What is a zombie?
It's like a dead croc that keeps moving.
Disturbing.
I don't want to know anything more about that.
Your world must be weirder than I had imagined.
Rick, come
Full
aside
of
with me.
dead moving crocodiles.
What if I threw the croc at the people at the front and got them distracted?
This is not Rick, come with me a moment, if you don't mind. And Godwin sort of leads you aside.
I'll just wait then.
Rick, you say very many things that are very strange to me. And I appreciate your different language and your interesting ideas. They're very, very, very fantastic. However, I'm in charge, and we have a job to do. When I require your assistance, are you able to be that for me? Be my assistance? Precisely when I need it.
You mean like not right now?
Exactly right. When I need you, I will need you, no one else.
So my idea is kind of garbage.
No. Rick, I think a zombie crocodile is something that could be used at a later date.
Well, this croc's not going to last long, so it's either now or never.
It's never then. Do you understand, Rick? I don't say this because I don't want you to do anything. It's because I don't want you to do that right now. Good talk. Slaps you on the shoulder rock.
That probably hurt you more than it hurt me.
Certainly did. Rian, off with you. What are you still doing here?
I was waiting for your word, and he takes off towards it. Oh man, I wouldn't do it, but damn, this guy wants to steal things.
That was great. That was like a teacher or a parent trying to explain very gently to a young kid why their macaroni art isn't very good.
Wow! You're saying I'm a child. How rude.
So
And dangerously
So fun.
enough, a child with the strength of a pile of rocks.
I'm not a child.
I know you're not a child. I didn't
Rick's
say
not
that.
a child.
I never said
is a
that.
child's
I
name.
said it was like that kind of conversation.
No,
It
that's
was
a
very
child's
good.
name.
It was very funny. Don't know if you saw my camera, but I was LMAOing. Ruffling even.
Ruffling.
I didn't roll on the floor. So
I
I
didn't
didn't
know-
Rafflecoptering?
I took a flight on the Rafflecopter.
Rafflecopter.
You were on the camera the whole time. I would have noticed.
Highlight combo for sure.
Okay, well, to finish off, when Godwin leaves and they're doing their own thing at some point, you just see a crocodile flying through the air down the hill.
Right. Yeah.
Loose end completed! Oh,
Nice.
take that.
Nice.
The
High
crocodile
five to
rolls
the
down the
camera.
hill.
I don't know if you high five me because I'm looking at roll 20, but hopefully you did.
I hope that's one of your objectives. Say, remember when I threw that crocodile in through the air?
Can I get an XP?
Pretty sure I got an XP.
Yeah, one of my experience things is
My
to throw
thing
an
says
animal.
throw a dead animal in the air. Come on, Nathaniel. I didn't think I was gonna.
I feel like this was protecting somebody weaker.
Yeah, my alignment is good. Like, I got good.
Right, yeah, it was protecting somebody weaker. He protected the entire group from his terrible zombie crocodile plot.
I you know what? As much as I love where we're going now, I would love to live in the universe where we actually went through with it.
Yeah.
That would be.
Because I was gonna be, oi, mate, crikey, I'm a dead crocodile. I'm gonna eat you. Nom nom nom.
We'll
The
save
way
it
we
for,
track-
save
Would
for
Rick
one
be
off.
doing the accent?
Yes.
Nathaniel,
The
can we have a
fast
save
track to
state
our-
one time?
Yeah.
Can we have a save
Yeah.
state one time?
That right there is the fast track to our first debilitation. Rick starts doing it, and everyone has to tick the confused box. Maybe even the scarred
Maybe even
box.
sick.
Maybe.
I would just tick off stunned, honestly, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a lot of
that was-
boxes.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Okay, so Rian, it's sneaky time. Could you please roll me? What do I want you to roll?
Are there assist rolls in this system?
Are there assist rolls? Yes, there is. There's actually a move called Aid or Interfere.
Interesting.
I want to interfere. No, I'm kidding.
Would Trap Expert be it? Because that is when you spend a moment to survey a dangerous area.
Enter fold as you work through area and ask these questions. What does the trap do when activated? What else is
Oh,
in
it's
here?
only about traps.
Yeah, that is specifically about traps.
It would be about traps, but I
Is
thought
there
they'd
a
be a
trap
little more
here?
generic
And
on
is
the
so
questions.
you can do that one too. Like that could be an addendum to your move, but I want you to roll a move for actually like sneaking through first. But I'll let you do
Could
the
I
trap
use-
expert thing as well.
Could I use the aid action to help him? Perhaps like help him pick out a route that he'll be able to infiltrate easily?
Sure. When you pick a
I don't want to. I want to make this very clear. I don't want to go with him.
Right. Yes. No, I get that. You're just kind of being like, oh, if you go this way, they're not looking in that direction.
I'd
kind of
like
thing.
help him like stake down the patrols or something like that.
Yeah. Why don't you do? Yeah. Okay. So I know tricks of the trade says about pickpocketing or whatever, Richard. But let's do, tricks of the trade, followed by trap expert. So first, I'm going to have Thomas roll Aid or Interfere. We'll do that first.
All right.
Yeah,
and,
this makes sense
and then
because
we'll-
it still has the
What-
cost of suspicion or danger or cost.
lose
So
that.
that works
what
for
do you want
that.
me to roll for that? I imagine wisdom because it's like a perception kind of thing.
What does it say? Does it say
Well,
choose?
It doesn't say choose, but there is no like standard one. I think it's kind of supposed to be.
Oh, because it's about the bond thing. Right.
I think it's supposed to be
Yeah.
like specific to what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Just roll wisdom. So.
Oh, it's 6.
Oh, dear.
Unfortunate. Nothing happens.
Very unfortunate. Okay. I want you to take a debility
What?
that you think makes sense given what you were trying to help him with.
The 6 box says nothing happens.
So, but I'm saying.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So tell me.
All right, let me think
tell me
about
what-
it for a minute.
Yeah, I'll let you think about it for a minute. In the meantime,
Teach you
Richard,
to
I would
try to
like-
help somebody.
Yeah. In the meantime, Richard, I would like tricks
wait,
of the
wait, wait.
trade, followed
Actually,
immediately by trap expert.
hang on. Let me check.
Okay.
Does he get an XP for that?
He does. Yes.
Actually, let me check if my boy. Pretty sure Yovis can help me. He has keen senses.
Okay. He gives
That's
you
a
a what?
+2 to cunning.
That's a +8. That's an 8.
That would be
Okay. So the result then instead is okay. Well, you don't get the XP though if Yovis
That's
helps
fine.
you. Okay. You get So they take a +1 or -2, your choice. I'm assuming you're giving him a +1.
-2. No, it's a +1.
Okay. And 7 and 9, they take
It's
+1 or
not.
-2, your choice. You also expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost.
All right. May I propose something for that, or would you like to?
Please.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yovis goes with him.
Yovis goes with him. Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So here we are. Tricks of the trade. So this is for your actual sneak. You got a 10.
I'd do it.
Okay, you do it. You do it. No problem.
No problem.
Now you're looking for traps. You get a 5. Even with the +1, that's only a 6.
That's what I'm
so
saying. Even if he gives
yeah.
me the bonus, it doesn't matter. You might as well take the XP.
So, well, he's done it now. He's chosen it now. So you get to mark XP, Richard.
Oh, for once.
So,
Hooray.
well,
The
what's
only
first
time
XP I've
ever.
gotten. That's the first XP I have gotten so far.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think so.
The first for failing.
So,
The first for failing.
Perhaps.
look at Drama Queen over here. It's like 6 XP or something. Anyways, yeah. So okay. So here's what happens. I'll describe the scene. Rian, you dart nimbly through the patrol of orcs on the outer gate. They might as well have their eyes wide open, looking side to side, but you slip by them like the wind. and you manage to make it towards the actual structure of the castle. Sorry, did you ask me something?
Do I take anything from anybody as I go?
Oh, yeah, you can swipe one thing. What would Rian swipe?
Oh gosh. Ooh. Could I? We'll see. A key ring.
Fox. A key ring. Oh, very clever. Okay. Yeah, no problem. The orc that was nearest to the portcullis who was pacing around does have a ring of keys on his belt, and you manage to snatch it from him as you approach the wall of the fortress. So, now, what these keys open, not sure, but they're keys.
I have keys.
You have keys. Keys acquired.
Inventory.
So,
Notes.
Their dignity. Okay, so as you approach the wall, so now you've gone up to the wall, you've gotten these keys. What's your next step? Would Rian try to scale the wall, or would he investigate the portcullis to see if he could get in that way? This is the denouement of your second roll. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, he. I think he is not going to try to scale a wall. Mm-hmm. I think trying. He's on a hot streak. I think trying to get in through the main kind of door. Mm-hmm. He would try to go through in the portcullis and see if there's a way in through that way instead of just scaling it. So
okay, all right.
He's got faith in his abilities because he's had it so smooth so far.
I got some good news and some bad news for you. And Ylvis, of course, is accompanying you to try to help you navigate through this. And of course, Ylvis has stayed very, very quiet and has stuck to your side. Or
he didn't even realize at some point he just turns around and goes, bugger.
That's right. Oh man. All right.
Shit. So, didn't know you were there.
Yeah. I'm digressing a little bit, guys, but I went for a walk yesterday because I'm still exploring the new city that I now live in. And you know that I'm a little nervous / scared around dogs. And I passed. There's a lot of dogs in Cambridge, by the way. But I passed by a house, and I was walking by a fence, and it was one of those really thick fences you can't see through. And I didn't hear anything except the jingle. I just heard the jingle of like a caller, I guess. But I just heard the jingle from some direction. And it turned out to be like a yippy little terrier or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, bah, bah, bah. But just for like that 1 second, I was so scared. Because I couldn't see it. I didn't know it was there. I just heard jingle, jingle, jingle. Really close. Because it was, because I was right up against this fence or whatever. But, so creepy. Anyways.
I remember a similar experience when I was walking down a path in between houses, where they sometimes have those catwalks.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to be heard as I was walking down there, except I heard like the rattle of a chain. Mm-hmm. And I looked towards this area, and then there was a thump against the fence as something on the other side just threw its entire weight against it. Right. I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm on this side.
Right, yeah. Oof. It didn't bark or anything? It was just
It didn't bark, just threw itself against the fence, whatever it was.
Wow.
And it made a pretty hefty impact, so obviously it was tired of people walking past it.
Right. Oof. It given up the warning bark. It was just going for the kill now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. All right, back to Rian getting a 6. So good news and bad news. The good news is, upon studying the portcullis as you get close, you're actually pretty confident that there's a mechanism built into the. There's like a mechanism here where if you inserted a key, it would actually like turn a gear that would open the portcullis. You're actually pretty sure you could get inside with one of these keys. It might take you a moment to figure out exactly which one fits. But you can kind of see a ring, and you kind of see parts of the mechanism that operate the portcullis lifting. Bad news is, as you approach the portcullis, you didn't notice the wire that was strung across the door frame, which as you hit it, lets out a very rudimentary alarm, the equivalent of like a couple of soup cans clanging together. But you've like pulled a rope, and a rudimentary bell has been shaken from the rooftop part of the fortress. And suddenly, these 6 orcs who were sort of just carousing, and the 2 orcs, the bored orcs up on the battlements, are suddenly aware that someone has tripped something. And in a moment of singularity and teamwork that would make some dance companies ashamed, they all jump to their feet, grab their weapons, and immediately turn to the thief and the fox, who are suddenly standing in front of their portcullis. So, one advantage is to Rick, Godwin, Lionel, and Many. The orcs do not seem aware that there are 4 other fellows standing up on the mountain ridge nearby, but they are definitely very aware of Yovis and Ruin.
Can I dictate what Yovis does?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, he slips through the portcullis where it's safe.
Okay.
Bye.
We'll get there when when Lionel's turn happens. You can dictate
gotcha.
what happens to Yovis. So Yovis is sort of like a extension of you. So
Good. We can set this nigging aside. Time for murder.
all right. This isn't an ambush per se, so I'm still going to give the puck initially to Godwin. Godwin, you and the rest of your troop on the hilltop are obviously close enough to. You were obviously able to make out all the orcs and stuff. So you're close enough that you've seen all this gone down. And just to describe the kind of terrain you're standing up on, like this is like a ridge on this mountainside, and then it dips into like a flat area, and then it goes to the fortress. So if you wanted to slide down and sort of join the fray or whatever, you could literally like sort of slide down on your feet like you would like on a hill. You know what I mean? Is that clear enough description? Like you could just sort of slide down the side of the hill, and it's steep, but there's enough grip there that you could sort of slide down and get into the valley area pretty swiftly.
You said there were 6 of them. Does that include the 2 that had the bows on top of the wall?
No, there's 6 that were sort of wandering around in this little valley, and there's 2 up on the wall, so there's 8 total.
Can I
Only the 2 on the wall have ranged weapons.
Can I say that I can activate shoot first?
So
I want to move ahead of everybody.
Well, that's why I was saying this isn't an ambush, because you saw the orcs coming as well. And I don't think any of them have gotten the drop on you. So I am still going to allow Godwin to dictate. Now, Christian might decide that you should go first because you're in the most danger. I'm going to leave that in Christian's court. But I am going to give the puck to
think that's
Godwin.
exactly what I want to do.
Okay. So then, Rian, you do get to act first then.
Do any of them? How many of them have a visual on me?
How many of them have a visual on you?
Yes.
Everyone who's not up on the wall. The guys up on the wall are literally immediately above you.
They're like with it. Like I can talk to them.
Well, I mean, how loud are you talking? If you shouted, everyone would hear you, because you're in the side of a mountain and everything echoes, right?
Right.
How many of them are within like they could reach out and grab you? Just one. Just the guy you took the keys off of.
Okay.
But all the other orcs that are on the ground could sprint at you or whatever. The 2 guys up on the wall, you're actually right up against the portcullis. They actually can't see you or hit you because you're literally right below them.
Okay.
So they've gotten their weapons out, but they don't have anything to do at the moment. And like I said, none of the orcs have spotted Godwin or Rick or Lionel or Many. So.
Okay. Then if I can go first, Christian, you said that.
Yep.
Rian holds up the ring of keys and says, "Sorry about that. I was returning these keys that I had located."
Right. I want you to roll parlay, please.
That's a 12. Oh, well, I rolled that by accident, but that was a 12.
Okay, you got 12. Damn. They ask you for something and do it if you make them a promise first. Okay. We have leverage on a GM character. Yep, if you have leverage on them, you have their keys. Okay.
Excellent.
All right, interesting. Very cool. Did not expect that, and a great roll as well. Really cool. Love it. All right, so, and +1 from the charisma. Nice. Okay, great. You got a 6 and a 5 on that roll. Cool.
Wow.
So, I think that's the first 12 of the campaign, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it when it counts.
Hooray.
Sorry, damage. I think Kirk got 12 in the damage roll last week, but I think this is the first 12, like in a action roll. So, anyways,
Gotten 16 in damage.
so you got a 16. Wow. Okay, against the crocodiles, right? Or is that against the spiders?
It was against the spiders. I'm just
It was against the
flexing.
spiders. Okay.
Numbers.
So the orc nearest to you right now, the guy you actually swiped the keys from, says, the other orcs look confused, like they were ready to run at you and now they've kind of stopped going, huh? But the orc nearest to you is like, where did you get keys?
I came across them on a leg of the way up this mountain. I'm here with a small party, and we think we've got something that you should see.
Something we see. We see now.
Yes. Have you ever witnessed a man made of rock?
No, impossible.
Let us meet your chieftain, and we'll let him introduce himself to you.
Chieftain busy.
He's gonna want to see this.
You
Rick,
show me. You show me, I decide chieftaincy.
absolutely. Rick, come down.
Fuck you, Rian. Alright. The orcs still haven't seen the rest of you, but as Rian shouts in that way, the orcs kind of turn. They're not exactly sure where to look yet, so they're just sort of scanning the horizon. Yeah, fuck you, Rian. So they're aware that there must be a group up on the ridge, so now they're all kind of scanning the horizon, and the orc again near the portcullis reiterates, "You show us, Rockman, or you dead human." And Rian, your turn is over. Please pass the puck to someone.
I passed this to Rick.
Okay. Everyone hates you.
I think that was a really good decision.
I liked it. I'm not on the ridge though.
I liked every single part of it except the part where you said, "I'm with a small party." Outside of that, it was a grand move, my friend.
Yeah. Anyways, Rick, it's your turn.
An excellent stratagem for getting yourself out of trouble. Pull some other people in.
I needed to get us away inside. I did my job. We can get intel better now.
I'm just trying to figure out how much I can screw over Richard right now.
Rand has less trouble if he splits it 5 ways.
Yeah. Keep in mind,
Thomas gets it.
just for your own context, Kirk. Obviously, because you are a big rock guy, if you were to stand perfectly still, at this distance, the orcs might not see you, so you could probably play dead, as it were. The orcs might have spotted Godwin, Menny, and Lionel, because they definitely... Well, actually, they can't spot Lionel because camouflage or whatever, but... They probably
I made sure I clicked that as soon as possible.
Yeah, you possibly could... if you want to, I'm just telling you, you can do whatever you want. But you could play dead. You are far enough away.
Well, after the conversation with Godwin, Rick basically decided to sit down and do some meditation.
Okay.
So he's kind of in his own world right now, and if somebody randomly calls his name, he's kind of not listening. So that's not because of Richard's action. I was going to do that regardless. So
you were going to do that regardless. I figured as much.
It's Scott's favorite podcast on.
Very Rick.
Exactly. That's right.
I'm listening to the rock part of rock and roll.
Nice.
I'm waiting to roll, so...
I figured after the conversation you chucked the crocodile, that's probably what Rick had done. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So, Kirk, do you hear Rian call you and just kind of phase it out, or are you just sort of dead to the world right now?
It's probably in the distance. Like, I'm obviously not really tuning it out, but I'm basically just...
It's like hearing someone watch television downstairs kind of thing.
Oh, weird.
It's kind of like Rian kind of was basically like telling me I'm kind of not part of the group, you know. So just trying to contemplate on that and figure out what next is to happen. So
right, exactly. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, cool.
I want to pass it on to one of the other three, whoever feels they would like to have the most meaning for what to do next.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a ruling then. If anyone decides to pass and just says whoever's left, I'll default back to Godvin if he hasn't gone. So Christian,
Okay.
I'll pass the puck back to you, and you can go, or you can dictate who goes next.
So, Rick, you've done.
He's just lying on the ground meditating.
I'm just sitting cross-legged, or however a rock would sit. I'm just kind of minding my own business. Eyes are closed. No humming or anything. I'm just very quiet and very still. And if you didn't know I was there, if you glance back in the corner of your eye, you'd think I'm just a pile of rocks.
Yeah, exactly. And also, again, for your context, Godvin, you are now aware that that obviously the orcs have engaged in conversation with Rian.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of the orcs are scanning the horizon, looking for this rock man, and it's unclear at this point whether they've spotted you specifically, but they're looking looking in your direction. So.
Okay, so I spy them doing that.
You've heard Rian call out Rick.
Yeah.
This is how echoey it is.
So Godvin hears that and spies the orcs looking at our general direction, and sort of turns to the rest of the group, to Many, to Lionel. Did he just call for Rick?
What it sounded like to me.
My goodness. Do you think
sounds like he got himself into the pot and found the water too hot?
Yes.
Hoping to pull us all in with him.
Should we go assist him?
Many rolls his eyes and just sort of crosses his arms. He's your toad.
This isn't very good intel, is it? Godvin motions for his teammates to come with him and slides down the hill, sort of like at a safe angle where, I don't know, is there trees or something?
No.
No?
No.
Great.
If you slide down the hill, they will see you slide down the hill.
Okay, so then he'll sort of like tap with his foot on Rick. Instead of sliding down, he'll tap on Rick's sort of body somewhere. Rocks. Rick. Rick, are you awake? Rick?
Oh, how hard are you tapping?
Like, softly.
Alright. So
Like
remember, this is all happening within seconds. So even if Rick could or wanted to respond, he wouldn't respond until we came back around to round
Okay,
two.
well
so
then that's my turn then.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass it to
Okay.
Gosh,
the orc says to Rian, "I'm getting impatient, human."
I just need my compatriots to join me and bring along the man made of stone. I'm sure your commander would love to meet him. Gentlemen!
Okay, Godvin, who are you passing it to?
Lionel.
Lionel. Are you sticking with your camouflage roll, right, Lionel?
Yes.
Okay.
However, if you'll allow it, I would like to be close enough to the edge that I can see what's happening down there.
Okay.
But that's entirely up to you.
That's fine. Yeah, so when you keep still in natural surroundings, enemies never spot you until you make a movement. No problem. Yeah, there's a roll because everything has a roll attached to this, but there's no roll. You can't fail camouflage. As long as you hold still, you always succeed on that.
Even then, when I rolled camouflage, it was an 11, so...
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, even if that had been a 5, it doesn't matter. This isn't a roll thing. All right, so Lionel, you're invisible. The orcs don't spot you, even if they were going to spot anyone. So you just hold still. What does Ylvis do? I'll let you call Ylvis his action. Ylvis right now is standing next to Rian, just kind of looking at everyone.
Provided, as I said earlier, provided there are no orcs like directly on the other side, he's going to slip through the portcullis to try and put a wall between him and the, 6 beefy boys.
Right. Okay. So Ylvis does precisely that, and sort of now sits on the other side of the metal portcullis. So, and Ylvis sees some things, but you don't. So I won't bother describing them right now.
And then, unless there's anything more you would like from me, I will pass the puck to Minnie.
Okay. Many.
Many gazes up at the little knot of orcs starting to surround Rian with a conflicted-looking expression. He flexes his hands as though they ought to be fitting around orc necks, and at the same time he mutters to himself, "I should just let the pilferer burn."
Ooh.
Well, not enough hours in a day. Let's get this started already. And I'm going to do... what are you waiting for?
Nice. Do you do this from the mountainside, or do you slide down?
Yep, I just shout from exactly where I'm standing.
Okay. Cry and shout to your enemies. Roll Constitution. You got a 9. On a 7 to 9, only a few, aka the weakest or most foolhardy among them, fall prey to your taunting. Okay. So what do you say? What is your taunt?
My taunt is... You should have killed him already. What are you waiting for?
All right.
What are you doing, you daft bastard?
That's what I'm asking them, you idiot.
You know, well. Okay.
I failed the roll too, it's fine.
True, what are you waiting for? Yeah. Four of them now spot you, having heard the call. And they start moving towards you. The other two remain where they are. So, was that your intention, or was your intention for all of them to gather to Rian?
My intention was simply to say something and then let them respond however you think is most appropriate.
Okay, so that's how they're provoked. So 4 of the 6 are provoked to start moving towards you, and ultimately all of you on the ridge.
Ultimately, I said nothing that challenged them in specific other than why haven't you killed him already?
Right, yeah.
So it'll be up to them to decide how to interpret that.
Right. Yeah, so 4 are now rushing the hillside where you are. As far as you can tell, they've only spotted Minnie at this point. But they are going towards all 4 of you. The other 2 are still by Rian. And at the end of the round, Rian, I would like you to defy danger, please. You may choose either dexterity, intelligence, or constitution.
A dexterity would be good.
Okay, go for it.
Just a straight dex roll?
Defy danger. The move defy danger.
Oh, defy danger. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, dear.
That's
dear.
8 XP.
Mark that XP.
Look, I got you guys an in. I didn't fuck this up.
I don't know if somebody didn't complain about not getting XP until now.
It's true.
You're right.
This is what it is, Richard. Like the universe heard you, and now you're going to get XP all night. So that's good.
Ooh, well, had to set me up good first and then bring me down.
That's right.
You'll just be so overfilled with XP, you just might die.
Wait.
That's just hubris.
Isn't
honestly.
low good on Defy Danger?
No, it's not. You always want to hit. There's no low rolls are good in this one.
Yeah, that's the only difference between a hard hit and Defy Danger.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just pretend for this one, maybe.
Nope. We gotta live with the roll.
Like,
all right.
I agree. I have to go to bat for Richard every now.
Gotta roll with it.
So, the one you swiped the keys from finally grows impatient and roars at you. You are a liar, you human, like all of your kind. You are here to steal our secrets for Arnvel. And he swings his axe at you, and sort of you start to sidestep it, but the axe hits the ground and hits you, and bad stuff happens, including 1d6 of damage. Oh, I only got one.
Hooray.
Lucky you. You take 1 damage, and you need to mark 1 debility, please.
'Tis but a scratch.
I will say, nothing the orc said was untrue.
So.
Smarter than he
All
looks.
humans are liars. He is here to steal secrets from Arnvel. Or for Arnvel, rather.
Look, just because I, as a person, prove it correctly, doesn't mean that my intentions weren't to be nice for a minute.
You were trying to return that guy's keys.
I guess I'm gonna mark shaky.
Okay.
Dex, my best stat.
Is shaky for dexterity? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a bit shaken by this.
I'm a bit
orc
shaken by
suddenly
taking a
roaring.
hit.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm gonna go.
This isn't usually how it goes.
Everyone on the hill. Also bad news for you. The archers have spotted Many's shout, and have let a few arrows fly.
At Rian, like I was suggesting.
Yeah. Rick, you're immune to this because they're too far away for the arrows to have enough force to hit you, and you just look like a pile of rocks to them. Lionel, you
Are we all standing beside basically where Rick is?
Yep.
If they don't have enough force to hit him, or did you mean that they don't have enough force to do him damage when they do hit him?
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, they have enough.
Or they might not even aim for me because I just look like rocks.
Yeah.
But even if they did and they reached you, they would just go ping.
Bing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Lionel, you need to make this roll, but because you're camouflaged, you'll get a big bonus because they're basically just blind firing in your direction. And then Godvin and Many and Rian, you need to make this roll as normal. So I need Rian, Godvin, and Rian can't do this because I already mentioned the archers can't actually see him.
Can I do an assist roll?
Yes, you can. Or you could even do a defense roll and defend someone if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was a thing. Okay.
Yep.
If he's still meditating, he wouldn't necessarily know this is going on, though.
Maybe.
You don't know Rick.
Then he's shouting, and Godvin's kicking him.
Yeah. So I'm going to.
One question before you continue there. You said that these archers are reacting to my taunt.
Yeah.
Well, then we get a forward against them in our rolls.
Yep, absolutely.
We have leverage against them.
Yeah, I just want to see what Rick does. Rick, if you choose...
I'm just mentioning that before Rick chooses what he's doing, because he will get a forward on his roll.
He'll get a +1, yeah. So Rick, if you choose to defend, there was a defend move in masks.
Yeah, no, I got it here.
Okay, yeah. So that would be kind of, if you remember from Mask when people did defense, it was kind of like they jumped the initiative queue and like that was their action because they were defending someone else. So that's an option. Or you can do an aid or interfere. So.
No, I'm gonna do a defend and do it against Godvin, who is closest to me.
Okay, so you're guarding Godvin. Very good. All right. Then what I want is Rick. Go ahead and make your defense roll with a +1.
Okay, and it's con. It says here.
That's right.
Okay. May spend hold 1 for 1 to choose an option. Okay. Depending on what I roll, I get different holds.
Get a 10.
I get 3. Okay.
Yep.
Half the attack's effect or damage.
Deal damage 3 times.
Deal damage to the attacker equal to your level.
I don't know that there's any good way to get that.
So long as you stand in defense, when you or the thing you defend is attacked, you may spend hold 1 for 1 to choose an option. So you don't have to spend all 3 hold now. The idea is as long as you continue to hold this stance, you can spend these holds when you want to.
I see. Okay. So, I'm going to half the attacker's effect or damage.
Okay.
Well, you can hold on to that until we see if he even fails the roll.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah, you can use it at any time. That's, I guess, how the hold works.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So you can do. I'll let Godvin. Okay. So that's that. Excellent.
You can mark that
Very
on your
good
sheet,
move.
even Kirk.
Yeah. No, I got it up there. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what I want everyone to do. So Lionel, I want you to defy danger. Pick whatever stat you want. You get a +3 to it. +1 from Many's forward, and an additional +2 because they're basically blind firing you. So if you can make your roll, we'll just do rolls one at a time here, so it doesn't get confusing. 15. You're 100% fine. They don't even come close. They don't even come close. They have no idea where you are. You're a ghost. Okay. Many, I want you to defy danger. Pick any stat you like. You get a +1.
Alrighty. Just a moment.
Doesn't come to what? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, favorite jokes are gonna.
Oh, I didn't put the +1 in there, so.
Oh, so it's an 8? Okay.
Whatever that says, +1.
Okay. Yeah. You stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The GM will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. Okay, so I'll give you an option.
Alright.
Take the bow's damage, whatever it might be, or take one debility.
I'll take the damage.
Alright. Good choice in this case, I think. 6 damage.
Unless your health is very low in any case, I would argue.
I pretend it doesn't happen.
Okay, you see indestructible hunger?
Yep.
Okay. You shrug the arrow off.
I just grab the arrow in between my pecs.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just figuring it like you just like flex your pecs and it just like brr, and then like they snap it in half.
Yeah, it's an arrow catch, but with my pecs.
In between his pecs, he grabs the point of it with his flesh.
Yeah.
And then just pretends it never happened.
And Godvin, I want you to defy danger. Any stat you like with a +1.
The +1. So I input that stuff, and then how do I hit roll? Do I just hit defy danger?
Yep.
+1. Perfect.
8. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to give you the exact same choice. Take the. Actually, Rick has those defense moves, so I'll allow you make your choice, and then Rick can decide if he's going to spend one of his holds to do it. But you can take a debility, or you can suffer the archer's damage, keeping in mind that Rick is guarding you now.
I'm gonna take a debility.
Are you sure?
I have to.
Okay.
No? Do I not have to?
No, you don't have to,
you certainly
because
don't.
you could choose to take the damage, and then Rick could use one of his holds to have the damage.
Oh, that hurt my neck.
So.
To have the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Rick is now standing in front of you.
Before you roll the damage, how are we rounding?
Always round up. You
always rounding up. What if it's 0? Can we round down to 0?
No, we got to round up to 1.
Okay, I'll take the damage then.
Okay. Rick, will you spend one hold to have the damage?
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna let him die.
Do we want to see what the damage is first?
I'm gonna half the damage.
Yeah. I don't want to make this too board gamey. Okay. All right. So it's one damage to you, Godwin.
That
rounds down to 0.
You guys say take it, but like I'm low already.
Yeah.
This is what you don't
just
realize.
take it. You don't need any more HP than 1.
That's right. You only need 1, baby.
Especially when I throw you down there.
What a dream.
So, yeah.
No.
So, I will say, because Christian hasn't mentioned it, but he is actually. Are you sure you're that injured, Christian? Didn't you heal yourself too?
This is post heal.
That is post heal.
He's taking a lot of damage because he took a little friendly fire.
Right. Okay.
Weird that every bad thing that's happened to Godwin so far.
Everything that we've suffered as a party, Godwin has gotten hurt by.
That's true. That is true.
Except for rocks. He hasn't had rocks fall on him yet.
That's just what the leader do.
Oh, we haven't suffered that as a party yet.
That's true.
Until Rick trips, then you're all
right.
screwed.
Okay. Well, anyways, Christian hasn't mentioned
falls, everyone dies.
Trooper, but Godwin actually looks terrible. So
right.
He looks terrible. Rick was very wise in guarding him.
The way Rick does it is he's calm and collected until things start going haywire, and then he just holds out a hand and deflects the arrow.
Nice.
to the best of his ability. But then it gets stabbed in Godvin's knee.
I used to be an adventurer.
He used to be an adventurer.
Yeah.
But then I got married.
Or maybe it grazes you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a full-on shot, it grazes you instead.
Maybe in order to block it, Rick kind of needs to like jostle into Godvin and kind of hurts him a little.
Does the body?
Oh, don't be a big
attack
baby. Ribs grow back.
Mine do.
Yeah, true. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe. So that's the end of round 1. So as a recap, we have 4 orcs running up the ridge towards the 4 of you. We have 2 orcs engaged with Rian near the portcullis. You'll just be chilling inside the portcullis, and we have 2 archers on the battlements.
I'm just sitting here keeping it Rian.
That's right.
I'm
with that in
dying.
mind,
It's fine.
With that in mind, it's 9:02. We will resume at 9:12. See you then.
All right.
All right. And we're back. All right, and we are at the top of round 2 of our combat. Just to recap, Lionel, Rick, Godvin, and Many are at the top of a hill across a very small valley. 4 orcs are currently running towards you. At the moment, Rick is as far as they can tell, Rick's a pile of rocks. And then you got, Lionel's basically a ghost on the ground. They've heard Many's cry. They know he's there. Godvin, you've been sort of grazed by an arrow on one side. Rian, meanwhile, you are near the portcullis with the remaining 2 orcs, and then there are 2 orcs above on the battlements with their bows ready. Okay, so we are at the top of round 2, and as always, Godvin, you may go first, or dictate who goes first.
Well, after being attacked and hurt by an arrow, Godvin will take aim at them. At the ones that are firing at him.
At the archers?
Yeah.
Okay. Left archer or right archer?
Hang on, I'm trying to think if this is wise.
Boy,
you
I
know
wish
what?
you guys heard what I was talking about down there.
Damn. All right. Yeah. I'm going to take aim.
Okay. The left archer or the right archer?
Dealer's choice.
Okay, let's go for the left. Please roll me volley.
Volley.
It's an 11. Very nice. Deal your damage, please.
That's literally the best roll possible. So damage.
All
That's
right.
not the best roll possible.
Yay.
It's all right. Okay. So your arrow flies clear through the opening in the battlements and manages to hit the orc in the chest. You can tell that you've done some damage even from this distance because the orc actually staggers back a little bit, so much that he sort of is now obscured in the natural sort of shadow of the tarp over top of him. You're not 100% sure actually whether or not you actually killed him or whether he's just staggered back in pain. But he sort of disappeared from sight for the time being. Okay, very good. Your shot has run clear. Please pass the puck.
I'm going to pass it to my dear friend and confidant, Rick.
Okay. Oh, does that mean Rick got?
Let's not think too much about it. Let's not think too much about it.
He knows that Rian's not long for this world,
I
so
know
he's
what I
already
deserve.
picking out replacements.
Yeah, he's picking out new disciples now.
Rian, off with you was the last thing you heard me say.
Last words, he goes to the grave.
What are you still doing here was the last thing I said.
Although under your breath, it was
that
like,
was your
off with your head.
That was your last words to me. I hope you feel bad.
Rian goes to the grave with, what are you still doing here? Anyways, Rick, he's passed the puck to you. It's your turn.
Okay, well, knowing some stuff's about to go down and just providing some semblance of help, but also with the conversation that did happen, Rick just looks at Godvin. So, do you want me to just sit here? Or is this one of those times? That's my action. You could play it, this bitch.
So
I love you.
So you're still in effect then continuing to guard him then.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I will protect them, but I will do no active actions unless they request it.
Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, you said like this bitch, but I mean, you're still guarding.
I know.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, understood. I actually really liked that. That was I just want to mention that. I might forget by the end of the session. I liked that. I liked that line, Kirk. That was a good Rick reply, I think. So, okay. Please choose someone to pass the puck to.
Let's do Rian.
Okay, Rian. You know this area you're in.
Can I take
by now
like a 3-foot step or whatever?
You've also noticed that Ylvis has slipped through the bars of the portcullis and is on the other side of it. So.
Gotta get that fox back later.
Yeah, a 3-foot step. Where? Back, like towards.
I want like backwards, and then I want to gesture up towards the mountain, and be like, "Look, I'm not lying. A rockman is literally defending another person up on that mountain. He is there. You are attacking the wrong people."
All right. So, okay, so it sounds like I want you to roll parlay again, please.
I want to try that again.
Okay.
And considering these odds are going to be way against me because of all these people that are going to maybe die. That's an 8. Okay.
Okay, they ask you something to do it if you make the promise, but they need concrete assurance of your promise right now.
He's on the cliff. He's right there. He's literally right there.
Okay. So the orcs turn back to the cliff, but as Kirk has pointed out, a hand poked out to block the arrow, and Rick hasn't moved since. So maybe dude stop behind a rock. But they do notice that Godvin is now behind the rock cropping. I'll just call it that, I guess. Outcropping?
Rock cropping.
Rock cropping doesn't sound right. That sounds weird. Rock outcropping. They do notice there's a man hiding, sheltering behind it, which they do find a bit odd. And so the orc looks over there and turns back to you and says, "What benefit is this rock man to us?"
We're trying to find out if anybody has seen magic like that before. We're trying to talk to as many people as possible.
We are no stranger to magic, human. The great shaman Zulu resides in this fortress.
But have you seen any magic like that?
I see rocks. I see many rocks.
Rick!
All right.
Rick, get down here!
Oh, so the orcs don't aggress on you at the moment, but they're looking very aggravated. And please pass the puck.
Oh, too bad Rick already went. Let's. I want to know what Manny's gonna do.
All right, Manny, over to you.
All right. How close are the orcs that decided to rush at us?
How close are they?
Mm-hmm.
They're like the foot of the hill kind of thing. So
like a couple strides away, or
yeah, you could slide down and be in their welcoming arms.
And it looks like they've decided to attack us, as opposed to just like rush over and check on the rock man. if indeed there is one here.
As far as they can tell,
obviously, Manny doesn't know about this conversation, but he's just trying to gauge their intent. Are they waving their weapons, got them drawn, or are they just like sort of meandering in this direction?
No, they have their weapons out. Their intent is to use force. So.
All right, excellent. In that case, Manny pulls his weapon free, shakes his head, almost sadly. And you're one petty pilferer, and you can't even handle that. This is going to be a disappointment, isn't it? And he leaps from the hill with the intent of slamming his blade down on one of the orcs.
Nice. Sounds like a hack and slash.
Mm-hmm. Let's find that here.
Okay. So you deal your damage, but they will attack you back.
Alrighty. And where is my damage? It's in here somewhere. Oop.
Oh, the 10!
A
critical!
Not dealing me any damage. You're dead.
Nice. As you swing down the mountain, you bring your sword across and cleave 3 of the orcs in twain.
Like I said, a disappointment.
All but one of the orcs rushing the hill fall dead at your feet.
Do we have cleave rules?
So,
We have cleave rules?
you have, if they have tiny amounts of HP, I carry over the damage rules.
Yeah, that's cleave rule.
Neat.
So.
Oh,
I would also like to take advantage of the forceful and messy tags to say that the final remaining orc gets a fair amount of spray.
Okay, very cool. He does get an attack back at you because you got a 7. So the last standing orc will get sort of a desperation attack, and then he sort of stumbles back a little bit from the forceful thing as well. That is 2 + 1. So it's 3 damage to you?
Alright. I take it.
Alright. And yeah, the other orc strikes back, and yeah, he gets the blood of his comrades all over him. All over his loincloths.
Minnie gives him kind of a sideways grin. Really? You should have tried just a little harder. That is your last action.
Ooh. Nice. All right, Minnie, and then by default, we pass the puck to Lionel to finish round 2.
Hi, that's me.
So.
First thing I want to question, Yolis is still safe on that side of the portcullis? There's no one coming out?
As far as you can tell, yeah.
Okay. You said one of the 2 archers, disappeared? I can't shoot at that one, I take it?
Yeah, the one on the left has stumbled back into the shadows kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm going to use my blot out the sun ability to shoot an arrow at the one remaining blood-soaked orc down there, as well as the archer that I can see.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha.
So I just roll volley as normal.
Yep.
And spend extra ammo to hit the other
guy. Yep. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I think even you, with the Elvis assisting you, you couldn't bump that up, eh? Or does he give you a +2?
Well, yeah, but he's down at the portcullis, so.
Okay.
Separated.
I won't even try and use him when he's that far away. Yeah, that was part of the failure.
Do I get a +2 since I have him?
If you engage with him, yes, because he is trained in attacking humanoids.
Wow.
So, if Lionel allows it, I will obviously let Thomas make that call because Elvis listens to him way more than you.
So. I mean, yeah, you can use him. The implication of him going with you was that he was handed off. So
right. So if you choose to attack them, yeah, you would get his bonus because he is trained in attacking humanoids. So.
Well, right now I'm trying not to attack anybody. Darn, it's only on attack.
All right, that's it for me.
Did you mark XP?
I did, and I got rid of my arrows too.
Okay. The arrow that you flew at the guy at the bottom of the hill, you'll be able to retrieve no problem. The arrow that flew at the top of the fortress is going to be almost impossible to retrieve unless you get to the top of that fortress. So, just so you
'Cause
know.
I was going to go up there. The archers probably have some arrows I can scavenge. I wanted them.
That's true. Yeah.
So
We'll see.
I wanted them.
At the end of the round, the orc at the bottom of the hill noticed the arrow that landed at his feet. Noticed many and killing his comrades. He's coated in the blood of his comrades. The orc flees. He runs across the valley and starts sliding down the mountain face to further down, and he disappears from view and sound. So, did he just like fall to his death? Did he like slide and fight a cave? Did he run away? Did he like start a family? Who knows? Wait, join us next week for the adventures of random orc
Our
minion
sister
guy.
podcast.
Yeah.
He decided to go after the crocodile.
Find out next week on the adventures of Orkwin.
Yeah, Orkwin. He's like, screw this. I could go eat a yummy crocodile. So he runs away.
Right.
He has fled. So at the moment, there's still the one archer up at the top, and there's the two orcs around Rian. And we come to the top of round 3. Godwin, back to you.
So,
Keep in mind what Rick told you last time.
Yeah,
when we addressed
Rick
him
has
asked
just
if
told
it
me.
was time. Yeah.
yes, Rick, now is that time. And with that, I'd like to have Rick continue to defend me as I move towards the battlement.
Oh, okay. And that's fine. I mean, that'll be up to Rick if he follows you, of course.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's your intention. Okay.
So I make my way towards the battlement.
Okay. And is that it?
That's it. That's all
Okay.
I do. And I pass to Rick. What you gonna do?
Oh, we're at the top of the round?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we are. Yep. Godwin just went. He said, yes, Rick, now is the time. And now he's starting to move. Hoping that she'll follow.
Okay. So I guess now I see that many dismemberments.
Yes. Yeah.
Are
he
the
killed 3 of them,
archers-
The fourth one fled. One
Are
of
the
the
archers-
archers. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry,
one
go
of-
ahead.
One of the archers is fine. The other archer got hit by Godwin's arrow and has stumbled into the shadows. You're not sure if he's still alive or not. And then there's 2 more orcs by Rian at the portcullis.
Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna do what I thought I was gonna do. With the kind of the permission to go ahead, Rick drops out of defense.
Okay.
What the hell? My screens went dark. I'm very confused right now.
First camera's not moving. Uh-oh.
Hold on.
It's a very cinematic
It's
shot,
frozen.
honestly.
Hold.
Now he's a man of stone. We still hear you.
We
Yeah,
can hear
that's
you
so
for
weird.
now.
What the hell happened to my screens?
I don't know. Was there like a blip in the power in your house? And
Nope.
like a weird power saving mode?
If there was, I wouldn't be on my computer still.
I don't know if you have a UPS or something.
Oh, you can.
No, I don't.
Did the connection perhaps come loose from the computer at the back?
I haven't touched anything.
HDMI cable might have come loose, or you could try reseating the cable to see if that would bring the display back.
But it's both my monitors.
But the webcam would also be working if there was something only related to the screens.
Technical
difficulties.
Okay, anyways,
wouldn't be a real broadcast if there wasn't a technical issue.
I will end my turn, and I guess I have to restart my computer. So what I'm going to do is, with the go-ahead, Rick is going to stop defending Godwin.
Yep.
And step to the edge of the hill.
Yep.
All right. Well, might want to watch out down there. And he curls into a ball and starts rolling down the hill.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd do that. That's funny.
A little wrecking ball action.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. What is your final intent? Is your intent to try to roll right for the portcullis kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And hit any orcs along the way, but obviously as a ball, I'm not paying attention.
Right. Can you just make a straight...
I can't roll anything. I can't see my screen.
Oh, okay. Great.
You could roll for him as GM.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. All right, with your permission then.
Don't screw me over.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a given.
Oh, I didn't even know it was possible to roll a 1. I thought you got 2 dice. Incredible.
And both of them rolled a 0.
Hold on. I'm just going to
My
see
favorite
if my
side of the dice. 0.
monitors reconnect here.
I'm just going to do a straight hack and slash, I think. So that just makes the most sense. You're still engaging at melee, basically. So we don't have to do anything special here.
Fancy melee.
All right, you got a 7. Bum,
Okay.
bum, bum. So yeah, deal your damage, and the enemy makes attack against you. So one of them probably takes a swipe as you sort of, geodude into the portcullis.
This is more of a graveler.
That's true. It's more of a graveler. As you graveler into the portcullis.
Because
I could
Geodude
not
floats.
remember. You're right. I could not remember the evolved form. It's
Golem,
Graveler,
perhaps?
Golem. Yeah,
It's Geodude, Graveler, Golem, but you only get a Golem if you trade them.
it's true.
Mm.
Anyways,
I
but you
feel
can
like we've
trade-
traded you.
Yeah,
Brand
we
new
traded you into
universe.
this,
You can't-
into this universe. That's
Yeah,
right.
you got traded.
Yeah, so you're Golem now. Anyways, you Golem into the portcullis. Okay, cool.
Your Rick has evolved into
How do
Golem.
I roll your damage?
If you just hit damage, or whatever it is,
Oh,
you should be
okay.
able to... Everything's calculated.
Okay, and you get 15. All
Told
right.
you.
All right, and then they get to hit you back. It's a d6 plus 1, so it's 6 total. So I will subtract that accordingly.
That's fine. And I'm gonna be right back, guys. I'm just gonna have to restart my computer.
Yeah, no
So-
worries. Come back to us. Okay, so good news. Well, good news for Rick. Bad news for the orcs. Rick piles through them. They are pancakes. They are many pancakes. Rian, can you make a straight dexterity roll, please?
I sure can.
Yes, sir.
It's 11.
11. 11. You are fine.
Cool.
So you managed to get out of the way of Rick. So
I also can't be surprised.
it's not about being surprised. It's just
He couldn't sneak up on me like that.
I think he's past sneaking. So there's nothing stealthy about this one. So all right. The other 2 orcs that you were nearby with are totally dead. They're dead. They are flattened guts everywhere. And you managed to leap out of the way, and Rick hits the portcullis, bends the portcullis in a little bit, and stops in his trajectory. So let's finish the round, and then if we need to, we can pause for Kirk. So Kirk's not here, so I'll just pass the puck. Who hasn't gone
Kirk's
yet?
back.
Manny, Lionel, and Rhiannon?
Kirk is
I think
back.
Kirk is
Oh,
back.
Kirk's back! Yay! Woohoo! Nice. Okay, so I don't know how much of that you heard, Kirk, but
No,
you
nothing.
killed both orcs. They are pancakes. Rian
You rolled
managed
down
to
the hill like a golem.
Yeah, you roll down the hill like a golem. Rian managed to dodge out of the way, so he's fine. You hit the portcullis. You bent the portcullis in a little bit. Yilvis had enough wherewithal to back up. And that's that. So
Thank you for letting my baby be okay.
please pass the puck.
Before I do, I'm just going to stay in rolled rock form, just to
Gotcha.
kind of mess with Rian a little bit.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so you're still a curled rock ball.
Yep.
All right. So,
No, I wouldn't know to mess with him. So
Yeah,
in the short interim, I will be round Samus ball, and
Right.
I will probably have to take a bit of time to kind of stretch out.
Yes, right. Gotcha.
And I will pass it on to Lionel.
Okay.
I guess I will take another pot shot at the archer that is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think like my graphics card just crashed for some reason.
Yeah, I guess it
Super weird.
happens.
I
Huh?
will take a negative d6 to my damage.
Okay, please roll your damage.
4
4.
minus 4.
Okay.
But we always round up, remember.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
you get
min
1.
Min 1, baby. The arrow.
No, that can't be right. I'm fine with doing 0. I was just joshing.
The arrow hits the orc, but manages to catch like a thick part of his leather armor. So it just kind of sticks in the armor. Because you were still camouflaged up to that point, the archer is completely shocked to know that there's another person up on the ridge. And he just kind of like looks around, confused, now noticing there's another person, and now he's like, "Oh my god, are there like other hidden people?"
Is it possible for me to move as well?
Yep, sure.
I want to move down to where the rest of them are, underneath the line of sight of this guy.
Okay. So you can slide down the hill and start making your way there. So, so at the moment, yeah. So I think everyone now has come down to the ridge. So.
That arrow that hit him in the chest, did it like bounce off and maybe fall back down to the ground?
No, I mentioned it stuck into the leather of his armor.
I did.
So. Okay, so yeah, so he's just kind of like, what? He's looking around, weird, confused, a little bit weirded out. Lionel, please pass the puck.
I'll pass the puck to Many.
Okay, Many.
All right, so we've got the 3 orcs that I murdered in pieces. There's the 1 orc that ran away. There's the 2 orcs that were left near Rian who are now smushed.
That's right.
Was the portcullis badly damaged by Rick's maneuver as well?
Yeah,
but not broken through.
Not broken through. It's been bent in.
He killed
All
both
right.
with it.
It's damaged.
Then Many is going to follow up on Rick's travel to the portcullis, and he's going to shove Rick through the portcullis to finish it off.
Okay, like sort of pushing him to like continue
That's right.
bending the bars.
Do a little bowling.
Okay. We just rickapole the door. So, I don't think you need to roll anything for that. You're plenty strong, and this isn't like
Almost there, Rick. Rockman. Let's finish this off, shall we?
And pushing Rick manages to finish busting the portcullis. The portcullis is now open enough that any of you could walk through. So.
Unfortunately, Many accidentally touches my rock hard butt.
Oh no! Now you're
gross.
Right. So.
Since it looks pretty much like the rest of you, I don't know that I notice.
Yeah, it's true. So now the portcullis is open. And at the portcullis sort of smashing open, Elvis steps to one side. So he stays out of the way. He won't come back to you, Lionel, until you like whistle for him or whatever. So
smart boy. Have a snack. And Many tosses him a little bit of one of the pieces of orc that was still on his sword as he finishes cleaning it off.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't eat that.
Elvis is happy. All right. Yep. So the portcullis is wide open, and then the only orc left is the archer up on the battlement. And now because you are sort of the first one officially through the portcullis, I'll say this to you. As you get a look down the hallways, you can see again, I already described this as sort of like a mushroom top. So the hallway naturally sort of curves around either way. There's one to the left, one to the right. It looks like both hallways ending up in the same place, because there's little slits in the stone along the hallway that look into like a center sort of vestibule area. Which looks like some kind of, maybe that's where it looks kind of like where the orcs might meet to dine or just have like a rally or whatever, because there's some wooden tables and chairs, but they're all in kind of some order of disarray. Some of the torches in the hallway is lit, but not all of them, just a couple, because it is daytime. You can see one to the left, one to the right, very like narrow spiral staircases that very clearly go up onto where the archers are. And now that you're in, you can see on the left stairs, the archer that Godwin obviously injured, the orc is actually sitting on the stairs, trying to patch himself up.
Poor timing.
And he pauses when he notices you push a giant rock man through the portcullis. It's kind of hard to miss. And he just kind of turns and goes, "Oh shit."
Well, I'm still kind of in boulder form.
That's true. I know. It's funnier to say a big rock man. As far as he's concerned, you just push a giant boulder through. He's just oh, big barbarian guy, big rock. Uh-oh. So he just turns and he swears in Orcish. So. And then you can presume from that information that the right side spiral leads to the other archer who's still up on the top.
Right.
And at the moment, you don't see or hear any other orcs nearby, which is weird because for what you understand about orcs, they live in large tribes. Having a tribe of 8 orcs would be completely unheard of, especially in a fortress this size. There's no way a tiny smattering of orcs could take something like this and hold it. There has to be at least 100 of them or something for a place this big.
Right. So where are they all?
Second of all, just like Rian, you heard the alarm that Rian shipped at the portcullis. It was a very primitive, a bell clattering.
Yes, well, that's why many are so put out with him.
Yeah. It clearly went off. All of you heard it. And you're really surprised that you haven't seen any other orcs rushing down the hallway to reinforce the front.
Disappointed is more like it, but yes.
Yeah. So that's what you see as you gaze down the hallways. And like I said, the unfortunate orc who happened to be patching up on the stairs as you enter.
All right. Well, many manages to put 2 and 2 together, even though mathematics hasn't been invented in this world yet, and decides that clearly the rest of the orc tribe must be up to something. That at least is interesting intel. Let us see if we can't learn more. And Many fastens his gaze on the injured orc trying to patch himself up and raises an eyebrow.
Right.
I feel like you're going to want to speak with me.
All right, and by default, Rian, the puck passes to you.
Rian turns to Manny. This was supposed to be a social infiltration. Not that your tiny brain could understand. I had an automatic and guaranteed in to talk to their commander under the pretense of seeing if they know about the magic that bewitched Rick, so we could more easily search for intel under less suspicion with no fucking bloodshed. And it's clear to me that none of you have any faith in my abilities, and yet Godwin demanded that I leave his site and do my job. They have a magic goddess in there, Zulu or something, and you botched my attempt to find out more. You bastards!
Many, throughout the entire tirade, has just been looking at the orc, and he spares just enough time to slap Rian sort of on the shoulder with one hand. Not exactly like a retort or anything. It's not like he's trying to hurt him. Just kind of puts him off his balance. Well enough done, little man. I'm pleased at the moment, so I won't wring your neck. But watch your words. And then he has something more to say.
Rian, do you take any further actions?
I kick rocks and walk towards Godwin.
Oh no, Rick! Different rocks, obviously. Walk towards Godwin. Okay, there's still one more enemy archer that's on the battlements, so we're still in combat mode. So, Godwin, it comes back to you.
The one that was patching himself, yeah?
No, the other one that Lionel hit but didn't damage.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know how many they killed. I wouldn't know about that. I'm mad and talking to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass it to Lionel.
Okay, Lionel, you'll start this round then.
Lionel slings his bow and starts
starts walking with his spear over to the guy on the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And he holds up his point of his spear, and he just says to him, "You can head out the way we came in. Just leave everything you've got that even resembles a weapon behind on the stairs."
The orc, seeing all of his comrades dead, complies.
All right, so yeah, unless nobody stops him, I'm just letting him drop all his weapons and walk out the way we came in.
Does anyone stop him?
Which orc is this?
This is the other orc that was still on the battlement.
He was hit by an arrow that Godwin shot, and he was patching himself up.
This is
the patching guy.
This
He's
is
already
the
injured. Yeah.
So then many does stop him.
Okay.
Actually, and many lifts him up off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe you and I should have a little talk first. I'm curious, you see. I'm wondering where the rest of your tribe is.
Right. Lionel, are you passing the puck to Many?
I will, but before that,
Uh-huh.
I shoot Many a glance and I say, "Talking only. He dropped his weapons."
I made no promises.
I mean, provided he doesn't do something reprehensible to piss you off, don't just off him for no reason. That's all I ask of you.
Many smiles thinly. I make no promises.
That's the best we get with you, Many. And I pass the puck to Many.
How very of a cheetah of you. Go ahead.
So, like I said, you're alone. You're hurt. I might be convinced by my soft-hearted friends to let you go. Maybe you find the rest of your tribe. Maybe you run off into the hills and start a new life. Maybe you get out of here alive at all. I make no promises. Unless you start talking. Right now.
Do you have any moves or anything that are intimidation focused?
I think I do. Let me take a quick look here.
Called Giant Sword Down Throat.
It's called I'm Big and Scary. Yeah.
Please don't hurt me. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Don't do this to me. Roll 20. Suddenly it's not loading my character sheet.
Oh.
Your connection to the server has been interrupted.
Oh, no.
What did you do?
Oh, dear.
Broke it. I was so scared.
Yep. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I reloaded. Reading. Actually, no, you know what? I don't. So It's just me looking big with a sword. And him, no weapons in my hands.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I do not know where the others are. The alarm tripped. They should have come up a long time ago.
Lies? Really? At this juncture?
They are not lies.
Then make me believe you, fool. Because your life is in my hands.
There are more than 60 of us in this fortress alone. Another 30 out on raids. Anyone in this fortress would have heard the ringing. Everyone on the mountain would have heard it. I do not know why they do not come.
And here you are, left alone, hung out to dry. How sad. Well, since you can't tell me anything, I guess you're of no use to me.
Wait,
that seems to be what you're saying.
Wait. I don't know where the others are, but I can tell you something. If the others are below ground, the fortress, it continues into the belly of the mountain. If you continue down this hallway, there is a staircase, a naturally carved staircase. It leads to the chieftain's chambers and other places. Perhaps they are there.
And perhaps you are leading us into a trap. But no worries. You will go first. If there are any traps, you'll surely tell us about them, or suffer the consequences. Understand?
He just nods.
Good. Keep up this cooperative attitude, and you might live. No promises.
The other archer on the right side tiptoes down the stairs and tries to fling an arrow into your back. I would like you to defy danger, strength, or constitution.
Very well.
All right, so you managed to deflect the attack or stop it, however you want to describe that flavorfully.
Mm. All right. Well, in that case, I think I'm going to just spin around, becoming aware of the orc at my back trying to strike me with an arrow, and I happen to have this shield in hand.
Oh, okay. The arrow pierces him then, and he's dead.
Oh, so many words wasted.
So that was sort of the orc's turn as an interrupt. I believe Rick, Rian, and Godvin still have actions this round. Who are you passing it to?
I'm going to pass it to Godvin.
Okay, Godvin?
In doing so, I'm going to say one more thing, because he's joined more or less with us at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Many sort of shrugs, given the dead orc in his hands, and lets the orc's body fall. Back to you for more traditional diplomacy, leader.
And so there's one orc left alive then?
Yeah, he's come down on the spiral staircase on the right-hand side. He tried to shoot Many with an arrow, and Many blocked it with the other orc body.
You can see now that you're outnumbered.
Parlay?
Parlay. Where's Parlay? Whoops, that's not the right one. Forget that.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of like that number. Maybe
wasted
don't
that
commit
10.
it. Just pretend.
No, it's all good. I got an 8.
An 8. Okay. The orc seems ready to surrender, but considering that you're obviously traveling around with a big guy who just killed his comrade.
I did nothing. What do you mean killed his comrade?
Yeah.
Please. Many has been the soul of gentlemanly attention to the rules of war.
The orc grunts at you, Godvin. What assurance do I have that I won't be killed the moment I drop this bow?
I promise you I will do nothing.
Then that is the best I have.
It's the best you'll get from me. But what's the best I can get from you right now?
What do you want, human?
Well, we seem to know our next path. Deeper into your base.
Indeed.
Tell me, how can I win favor with your chieftain?
The chieftain. The chieftain admires power, as all orc chieftains do.
Fantastic.
You probably only need to bring the head of one of our slain. He will listen to what you have to say. He is patient. But there are others with him who are not so patient. You must be careful.
Whose head should I bring?
Are there any heads you have left intact?
Godvin looks around.
Many smirks at the living orc, as though he were suggesting a specific head.
Huh.
Now, many.
Many says nothing, but continues smirking.
Godvin sort of motions to Many to sort of go find a decent head to bring.
He's holding one.
He's still holding
yeah,
the
that's
body
right.
of the guy who got arrowed. Yeah.
Oh, that's
No,
true. Yeah.
I threw it to the ground, but
Oh, okay. But it's still there.
Many doesn't respond to the gesture, but he does look at the orc at his feet.
Godvin sort of motions to that one. I'm trying to think of what else I could get out of this guy.
Probably not much more.
Yeah. Well, you now have your freedom to go. From me, at least.
So he tosses his bow down onto the ground.
Yes, you won't be needing that.
No, I guess not. Okay, so we are officially out of combat. So 2 things. For those of you who care, aka the ones who have bows, thanks to the orcs who have surrendered their armaments, everyone who wants to can increase their ammo count by 2 to represent some arrows they have pilfered.
Most excellent.
Are they better
not-
arrows?
Oh, they're just arrows.
They're just arrows. Don't worry about it.
I think they're probably garbage.
Remember that the game doesn't track how many arrows you have specifically. You only spend ammo for special abilities, so that's to abstract you firing multiple arrows, right?
Right.
Like, for example, when Lionel does Blot Out the Sun, I actually imagine he fires way more than 2.
That's why
It's the
Pretty hard to blot out the sun with, too.
I use that quite often.
Uh-huh.
That's why I personally care so much. I don't know if the rest of you really go through arrows.
What if it's a tiny sun, though?
I have extra arrows for you then if you need, bud.
Or really big arrows.
No, but thank you.
Anyways,
They're
everyone
just
who
really
has
big.
anyone who has a bow and wants more arrows can increase their ammo count by 2. Rick, at this point, like you said, you mentioned you wanted some time to stretch out. So it's up to you to decide whether this has been a sufficient amount of time
Yes.
to return to normal form. Okay, in that case.
Yeah, probably when Godvin and the orc are talking, that's when I'd start moving and shifting and getting out of ball form. And it's not as convenient as Samus, unfortunately, but
Right. Yeah. The living orc on the stairs, his eyes go wide, but he doesn't say anything or shout in surprise or anything.
if only I had googly eyes right now, this would be perfect.
And then in a few more minutes, of course, Rick is back to his old self, as it were. That being a big man of rock. And at this point, all of you are in amongst the entrance to this fortress, and all of you can see the same hallway description I gave to Chris.
Well done again, Rockman. You crush bones with ease.
Rian, a word?
And before Garvin and Reen have your word, does anyone stop this orc from fleeing?
I have no reason to.
Okay.
I made a promise.
Many's had his fun.
Okay. So then the orc, very cautiously shimmies past all of you, and as soon as he's clear of the last person, he flees into the mountainside.
I just yell out, "Watch your step."
Right. Nice. And he's gone.
He trips down the mountain and dies.
Maybe. He explodes. SpongeBob style. Anyways, the 6 of you are now gathered in this sort of entrance area. Sorry, Christian. Now you can go ahead and speak to Rian.
Right. Rian, a word.
Rian gives you an angry look and then follows.
You can understand my confusion, and I can understand your frustration.
I had a guarantee with no bloodshed and no extra baggage. We didn't know that there was not an entire bunch of more of them down there. And I was able to try and succeed at getting us in and doing my job.
Garvin
All I
puts
needed
his hand
was
on
our
your
new
back.
companion.
This was not what I had chosen for you to do, Rian.
I am not Lionel, and I cannot scale walls with ease.
I asked you to do this on your own, without the use of Rick, me, Manny, and Lionel. I needed you to do this.
And if I died in the process, would that not have mattered? I have a sense of self-preservation.
My friend, I've known you for so long. For you to die would take a great deal of their effort. That's why I chose you to go in, because I knew you wouldn't. I think you need to trust yourself more. Trust in the love of God. That he loves you. He speaks to me, and he says so. Do you not believe it? Do you not believe my words?
Yours are the only words I do believe.
Good. Then it's understood. And Godwin walks towards the rest of the group.
Rain stands there for a minute.
Right. Yeah, really excellent conversation, yeah. Really good.
And then joins them.
Right.
Throwing the little bundle of keys up and down in his hand.
Gotcha. So like I said, the 6 of you are gathered at this entrance as Rian and Gavin rejoined the group. Same description I gave to Manny when he first entered with Rick. And now all of you can see this plain. Like I said, the fortress is naturally rounded out of this mountainside. It continues down a left and right corridor, but it looks like the 2 corridors end up in the same vestibule area. There's a wall in front of you, but there's little slits in the wall that allow you to see into the central room. It's large and circular. Like I said, it looks like a barracks or a dining hall, basically. There's lots of wooden chairs and tables. They're all in various states of disarray. There's some, tossed spoons and bowls on the ground. And then, yeah, it looks like right in the center, there's, a hatch or something that could be lifted up that might have, a staircase underneath. You can't see stairs. There's just, a place where there's, a big iron metal handle that obviously lifts up part of the floor. And yeah, like I said to many, despite the fact that this warning klaxon rang out, and all of you heard it across onto the other mountain, on the other hillside there, no other orcs have come to investigate the alarm, let alone come into battle.
Mm.
So where to now?
So
Then it seems that we are possessed of some intel, but it's hardly sufficient to come back to the commander with, assuming he isn't a burnt corpse.
And we must assume.
shouldn't we go deeper?
The only way to get intel is to dig deeper. I think Rick is correct. Let's see what other answers that this place holds.
Also, this is for everybody. Don't volunteer me. just, ask first. I'm not a puppet.
Of that, we are all certain, yes.
Okay. So, where do we venture? Arvid, do you take the lead?
Onward!
Yeah, I'll
Onward.
take the lead.
All right. So I'm assuming then you're heading for the trapdoor sort of thing in the center of the commons room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what mysteries this place holds.
As the group rounds around one of the hallways, like I said, it doesn't really matter. You guys could split up. You could stay together. There's not a very big hallway. Like it's wide and carved. Regardless of which hallway you go down, there's some banners hanging off the walls. Definitely not orcish in design. And again, these all look like human standards from the Kingdom of Arnvel and also some other neighboring kingdoms that you don't recognize just by looking at the banner designs, which either were already here when the orcs possessed the fortress or the orcs have taken at some point. But they've obviously thought they were pretty enough to put up as decorations. So.
Look at banner, Michael. Okay.
So.
They've got a banner up that says "Welcome Humans." Aww.
You come around the corner into the large commons area and it's a mess. Now that you're in the room, you can see like bits of food have been dropped on the ground and the bowls have rolled around. There's just like bits of like dried meat sitting around and all of that. Orcs are obviously a bit messy eaters, or at least this bunch is. However, I will note that there were spoons and that kind of thing with the bowls, so they weren't just eating with their hands.
Sorry,
so,
the spoons are no longer on the table.
So no, everything's been knocked onto the ground. So
yeah, the spoons are no longer on the floor then.
Oh, okay. So
they were just wooden spoons.
Oh, there we go.
Look, I can't
trinket is a
help it.
trinket.
Okay. It's funny. You could have sworn you saw some spoons, but no, they're gone. They're definitely gone. Yeah, must have been your imagination. There's no spoons here.
Must have been the wind.
So, incidentally, Urian has acquired a few wooden spoons to add to his collection.
How many?
How many
Just
spoons? Just a few. 4.
So not many.
You're gonna add one more to ammo.
Yeah. Yeah. Please tell me when
I have
you use
throwing
one of your
weapons
spoons.
if I sharpen them.
That's
Spoon
right.
shot.
That's right. Please tell me when you're making a spoon shot roll. That's a very special stat you have to roll for that.
Too bad they weren't wooden sporks.
It's
Use them right off the bat.
Display spoons.
Display spoons. Nice.
Display spoons wooden, actually.
just whips out the spoon. Now what you gonna do?
Like a Christ compels you kind of motion, just like add something with the spoon. Anyways.
Back, foul beast. I have what fears you.
The floor is all cold stone, except for the very center, which you also gather is cold stone, but just indented, and someone has laid a rudimentary sort of wooden hatch on a simple hinge over top, and you can see it just lifts up by pulling on a metal ring. So, does someone pull up the hatch? Dun, dun, dun.
You said it's on a ring?
Yeah, so it pulls upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like a trapdoor leading down would.
Then Minnie goes behind where the door would open.
Uh-huh.
And he pulls the ring back and the door up and off.
Just pulls it off, yeah.
Yeah, so that he continues stepping back as the door opens.
Right. The wood's thick and it's a bit heavy, but it's not heavy for you. It just comes off easy. And yeah, now with the door open, actually all of you are hit with a bit of a draft, coming obviously from a natural cavern below here. You can see that there is like a carved staircase. Again, this looks way too nice to have been an orc settlement originally. But there is we've been drafted. There's a stone staircase that sort of does a very gentle spiral down into the cavern. There are no lights. There are no torches or anything lit at the bottom. Actually, I'll take that back. There's one torch lit at the bottom of the spiral staircase. So you can see immediately at the bottom of the staircase, but the rest of the cavern is unlit. Other than the fact that there's a draft coming, and anyone who makes a sound into it obviously echoes, it's hard to tell how big the cavern is from here. With the torchlight, you can see that the staircase goes down about a story. Your characters wouldn't think of it that way, but just for player reference, it's about a story down. And then it terminates onto a flat area, and the cavern continues. And you can see the sort of like fortressy gives way to just literally just a cavern.
And do we see any evidence that there's anything down below? Lights perhaps bobbing in the distance, or this little glow?
It looks like there's a body at the bottom of the staircase. It's on its stomach, face
Fancy.
down. But you can't tell what state it is in. Other than it is orcish, you cannot tell anything else about it from up here.
Not one of ours.
I say we get a bit closer.
After you, brave leader.
Then after me.
Okay. The staircase is narrow enough that you're going to have to go down single file. So if you could just tell me what order you descend the staircase in.
I'm willing to go first.
Okay, Godwin goes first. Second?
I can go second, sure.
Lionel second. Is Ylvis back with you, or have you left him with Rian?
He's back with me.
Okay.
I'll follow after Lionel then.
Okay. Fourth?
Rick goes last unless asked otherwise.
Okay. Is that fine with you, Rian?
I was going to say I'm dead last, but if Rick's going to play this game, I'll let Rick be behind me.
Well,
Probably
unless
stand there for a second and
after
wait
you.
for each other to move. Yeah.
Do you guys each do the like arms, like the you go, no you go, you?
No.
Okay.
Rian's not happy. He's not going to do that.
Right. All right. So sorry. So Rian's going fourth, Rick's going fifth.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, when Rick joins the staircase, of course, there's a. Otherwise, the cavern's only real sound is a couple of distant dripping noises. That sound just like sort of water falling from the top of the cavern to the bottom of the cavern, and then making a big echoey splash. The cavern must be massive because it's like really ringing out as these little water droplets hit the ground. At the bottom of the staircase, and Godwin, you're the first to see this, although the others join you shortly. Like I said, the orcish body is face down. He's dressed basically the same as the ones you encountered above. And he actually looks like, just based on the weird angle he's at, it actually looks like he was about to make his way up the stairs. And was like either fell backwards and like rolled onto his stomach, or was pulled back. Because like his legs are still like turned towards the stairs in an unnatural angle. But he's like face down. His arms are up in front of him, like he was bracing to catch himself as he fell. But obviously they didn't do the job, or something pushed him, because they're just sort of limp up above his head, and his head is resting on the ground at a very unnatural angle. It doesn't take a medical professional, not that any of you are, but it doesn't take a medical professional to note that his neck is not the way necks should be.
Yeah, he just needs to go to the chiropractor, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's it. He's fine otherwise.
Makes sense.
What happened here?
Have we disturbed the body at all at this point?
No.
Then when Many comes to it, as people are investigating it, he flips it over, not too roughly, onto its other side to see if that reveals anything about what exactly might have happened to this fellow.
Yeah. He has a big hole in his chest that should not be there, around the rib cage area. Something went clean through him.
When you say big hole that went clean through him, it wasn't visible from the other side, though.
Yeah, so because the orc's wearing armor, I don't know if I mentioned this briefly. I guess I was hoping to infer from the arrow catcher.
So it went
Very
clean
like
through his flesh, but not through the armor behind
at
him.
the back.
At the back. Okay. Yeah. And when you say big hole, are we talking about the size of a cannonball or the size of a fist?
Say the size of like a curled up fist.
Quite the blow.
Lionel's gonna walk up and investigate as well. Is there any like form of it went through the body, but it didn't go through the armor at the back. Is there still some form of potentially like projectile in there, or
no? And there's no signs of anything sharp having scraped the edges.
Oakley dokley.
Something smooth and bludgeoning went through that wound.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Rick finally makes it down. Does he recognize this at all?
Well, I mean, you've seen dead bodies before. Well, I mean, it strikes.
I'd like to make a bit of a meta inquiry here, if you'll allow it, Nathaniel.
Okay.
Rick is from a universe where superpowered beings exist.
Yes.
And he might have seen a wound like this inflicted by them, if not in person, then in a textbook.
Yes.
Or
exactly.
if the holes that I make by punching things is about the same size.
Yes. Okay. So I will answer both those questions. I was actually about to say, Rick, having come from a world of superheroes, you're not completely unaccustomed to the idea of someone being able to punch through someone's chest. That's what it immediately strikes you as. You don't look for like weapon shrapnel. You think, oh, someone's gotten punched through their gut. But
right through the bone.
The fist isn't your size fist. It looks human sized.
Oh, I didn't do this.
Yes, I would have imagined, unless you were a lot faster than any of us had originally realized.
We don't know the history of the Rockman. Perhaps he's only been playing innocent. But in any case, this looks like something on your scale, Rick. A fist sent right through flesh and bone. Quite the blow.
No person I know could do such a thing.
Meanwhile, Lionel, can you make a straight wisdom roll, please?
Straight wisdom roll. Here it go. 9.
9. Okay.
Wait, can I ask him what this is in?
Oh, I'm about to tell you.
Well, I was just wondering if perhaps I could use the keen senses of my
yes.
friend to
Yeah,
bump
it's
that
a 10.
up to an 11.
It's an 11. Nice. Ylvis perks his ears up slightly before you do. But as they're chatting about it, Lionel, you and Ylvis suddenly become aware that it's faint, and the echo of the cavern's making it hard to pinpoint, but you hear what sounds like a struggle. It's harder to describe it any more than that, but you can hear, like, grunting, and you can hear the smacking and the clanging of something. It sounds, from your experience as a military man, it sounds a little too casual to be like a full-on fight. It sounds too casual for that. It sounds more like someone's sparring. You know, like they're hitting a dummy with a stick.
Right.
Something like that. But it definitely sounds like harsh, and you think it's coming from a northeasterly direction. That's as best as you can pinpoint with the echo.
So, as Lionel stands up from investigating the body, he just turns really quickly towards the direction he thinks the sound is coming from. He turns back to the group and he quickly holds like a finger up to his lips. Sounds like we're not alone down here, as we expected. But I don't know. It sounds too casual to be an actual fight, but perhaps the trouble that found this man hasn't quite left the basement just yet.
You're saying it's amongst us, then?
Hardly. We're all the way up here. Time for us to go find some actual excitement. And then he starts striding off without waiting.
Bum, bum, bum.
You die.
Yeah.
It gets you.
Lionel, you pointed in the direction you were hearing the sound. Is that right?
Yeah, I turned to it. I turned and I like shushed them, and then when I was saying something's down here, I pointed in the right direction.
Okay, well then I guess Manny starts walking in that direction. Manny, now that you are starting in that direction and you know that you're supposed to be listening for something, you start to just sort of faintly hear it as well.
Mm.
And it definitely like you catch grunts, you catch like cries of pain,
Right.
very quick and fast, and you catch blades hitting things, but you also catch like just something hard hitting, like smacking against stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you were to hear, like, your dad doing a construction job in the garage. So
Right.
that's vibe.
Many's expression shades a little bit from neutral to more interested. Many in pain, and one not really trying very hard. Interesting. Many pauses for a moment as he looks back towards the rest of the group. Well, aren't you coming? And then he continues on without waiting to see whether they do.
Okay. Well, Manny continues. How about the rest of you? What do you guys do?
Godwin follows at a regular pace.
Okay.
I freak up
tell me
the
what
space between Godvin and Minnie.
Okay.
Are there any side rooms or corridors?
This is a huge, vast cavern.
It's a cavern.
Yeah, it's a huge place. You gather that there's probably are some corridors down here. Again, the cavern looks half carved naturally and half sort of made. So you gather there's probably caverns. You haven't seen any living quarters. The orcs must sleep somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But without any light sources down here, it's going to be tough to search. Right. But I mean, you can presume so.
Yeah, Rick takes up the rear.
Okay.
No, I'll keep moving with the rest of them in front of
Okay.
Rick. Rian's fingers are just getting itchy.
Okay.
You just stole spoons.
Look, I can't control it.
Wait, you gotta steal something in every room?
Kirk, he's stressed out right now.
Yeah. No. That's how he relaxes. It's like a chain smoker.
Stress stealing?
Kleptomania is a real thing, my dude.
It's true. It's true. And kleptomania gets worse if someone's stressed out or...
But this is a fantasy world.
I have a very specific type of kleptomania where I steal people's hearts.
Haha! Yeah, you stole my heart a long time ago,
Christian,
man.
You've been trying for so long and haven't gotten one yet.
Ooh. Except for Nathaniel's, apparently.
You have my heart. Luckily, I have two.
What?
He's a Time Lord.
Burn the witch!
So, anyways, I'm an immortal time wizard. I have his infinite number of organs that I need, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He just takes them from future timelines that don't exist.
That's right. I'm from doomed realities. They don't need them anymore. So, okay. The five of you creep along, and if you'll allow me, players, the camera angle will shift a little bit towards what you eventually arrive to.
It's Bob.
It is. What? How did you know? No.
He's watching TV.
The cavern continues onwards, and you come to a natural sort of cliff. How do I describe this? So the path continues, and then it just drops off. There's just a sharp drop. And on either side, so there's a sheer cliff in front of you, but there's like a little lip to it. So if you can imagine, it's one of those cliffs where you could like hold on to the edge with your fingers and then pull yourself over to look. You won't need to do that. I'm just trying to describe how sheer the drop is. On either side, there's sort of a thin natural bridge that goes down to left and right, spirals down the side of the cavern walls, and comes into a center ring. You can see this center ring, for the player's reference, is the same cavern we actually started the session off in, where Chief Bront was talking to his second in command. The stone throne, for reference, has been smashed by something. And it's hard for each of you to decide what to look at first. But probably the thing that draws your attention is the large, enormous pile of bodies everywhere. This is where all the orcs were, lying dead in this cavern. And you instantly understand that they were engaged in combat, all of them armed to the teeth, or as much as they had, as much as they could be armed to the teeth, but clearly it didn't matter. Each of them had been slain effortlessly. And now, Lionel, it dawns on you why it felt like a sparring match to you. You realize that one of the combatants, the focal point of the combat, isn't trying. These guys just aren't hard enough for him. And so, although the orcs are grunting in agony and effort, taking swings and trying their best to damage the individual in the center of the cavern, he just doesn't give a shit. At the moment, there are only 4 orcs left standing, and they all push in to the figure in the center. 3 of the orcs are huge, like the size of trolls, and they all wield giant hammers or battle axes. And they're swinging them wildly around the figure in the center. Figure in the center is just a little too fast for them. The 4th figure is dressed very differently. Instead of the leather armor you've seen the other orcs in, they're dressed in a long robe. And she, it's a female orc, is sitting off to one side, grinding something and sort of murmuring to themselves. Even though they're murmuring softly, the echo of the cavern carries it across. And before I continue my description, I also want to mention this is all happening within a matter of seconds. So this is as you guys are walking up to this cliff, all of this is happening. So just for your own reference. Anyways, she's mumbling something under her breath, which even though she's softly murmuring, the echo of the cave carries in, and obviously it's an orcish, but it's just sort of a long string of words that has sort of a musical sort of vibe to them. Godwin, it strikes you in that she's trying to cast a spell. The rest of you, it just sounds a bit sing-songy. The first orc brings down his battle axe, and the figure in the center just moves quickly, grabs the axe out of the orc's hands, and drives the shaft through the creature's stomach, and the creature falls dead. The second one swings his hammer down and smashes what's left of the stone throne, but the figure isn't there anymore. He's now on his back, and with a finger and thumb, he grabs the back of the orc's nest and twists it one side, and you hear it as his neck snaps and he drops.
Hold on, Nathaniel.
Oh!
I think Kirk is having a technical
Kirk's
issue.
headphones just died.
Kirk's having a tough night.
Oh, poor Kirk.
Oh, what timing?
Can't believe Alistair somehow survived the medieval times.
It's Pumpkinhead.
Just didn't seem likely. Medieval
times.
The tension is like, I think it might split me in half.
Right in the middle of the most important
if
description.
you're lucky, the tension and not the guy who's murdering everyone will do it.
Well, I, Christian, am fine. Medieval times.
Thank you, Richard.
Let's play some Monty Python music.
And kind of a tone shift.
Let's all go to the lobby.
My stomach
Let's all
is
go to the...
in so much pain. I'm
Get
so
some
tense.
batteries.
Check. You guys can hear me?
There we go.
Oh my god, I am so sorry. It's the very instant. It's like, I'm like, are you kidding me? My headphones died.
All right. Let's just
Really?
get back into it, please.
Yeah.
Take that. Wind that description back a little bit to the end of the murmuring, perhaps.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To when you were mentioning the musical murmuring.
Yeah, the last thing I heard was talking about her perhaps casting a spell.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. It happens. But yeah, I need to get back into it. She, like I said, to Godwin, it sounds like she's casting spells. The rest of you, it's just sort of sing-songy. The three other figures attempt to hit the figure in the center, but he's just a little too fast for them. The first one brings down his giant battle axe, but the figure's already moved to one side. He grabs the axe out of the orc's hands and drives the shaft through its chest. The creature falls dead. The second one brings his mighty battle hammer down on what's left of the stone throne that once belonged to the orc chieftain, and it shatters the rest, but the figure's already gone. And the figure reemerges like a blur on the creature's back, and with a single finger, with his middle finger and thumb, snaps the creature's neck, and it falls dead. The last one takes a wild triple swing at him, and the figure stumbles back for a second, and he speaks in a distorted voice. And for the first time, you get a look at the figure. He's dressed all in black, in materials and outfit you don't understand. It's out there. You've never really seen anyone garbed like him. He looks like, you don't even know how to describe it. Other than his black, you don't recognize the material it's made out of. You don't recognize the style or the design of the outfit. And where his head should be, looks like a glass orb. Like someone stuck a fortune teller's ball over top of where his head should be. And the figure speaks, his voice distorted by something, but nevertheless it rings through the cavern anyways. Alright, listen. You guys aren't any fun at all. So I'm going to let you have one free hit on me, and we'll finish it, okay? Go ahead, do your worst. The orc, without hesitating anymore, gives out a large battle cry and swings the axe down on the figure's head, and the axe cracks the glass part of the helmet just a little bit, and a shard of the top flies off. You catch a little bit of the figure's features underneath. It's clear that his hair has been tied back. You can so I should say the part that's broken off is like the very top, so you can see sort of the top of the scalp. The hair is a sort of salt and pepper look. So sort of on the way to gray, but not quite there. And you can tell that it's tightly pulled back into something at the back or whatever, like a ponytail or a bun or something. You catch that he's, got sort of pretty pale skin, to be honest, and you can't really see his eyes because he's still facing away from you. I said your best hit. Boy. Ugh. Everyone on this planet is pathetic. And in another blur, the figure goes from in the center of the room to the other side of the creature. You realize in a moment he just stepped through him. There is a human-sized hole in the creature, and the creature falls over dead. Suddenly, all of that changes. The atmosphere of the room totally changes. And when I say the atmosphere of the room changes, it literally changes. The atmosphere grows staticky. Like all of you suddenly walked across like a big carpet and are trying to shock yourself. Or, more appropriately, like you're standing outside as a thunderstorm is beginning, and you can kind of feel the clouds gather, and you can feel the air change. If you've ever been outside when a big storm is brewing, you know exactly what I mean. And you actually, there's little sparks that bounce off the cavern walls. Some of you actually have to step out of the way to dodge some of the residual. And all of you get that weird sensation in your bones. Even Rick, you don't have bones, but there's still that sensation of a storm is coming. You can feel the air pressure rising. And as you look back at the final orc, who has now stepped up, you understand why. Her hands and her eyes are aglow with lightning. and the lightning flies from every step of her body. She lets out another orcish sentence. And from her hand fires a mighty crackle of lightning. It blinds all of you for a moment, like you've just watched a lightning bolt descend from the heavens, except this time it's come from the hand of this orc. For those of you who have never seen magic in action, have only read about it or heard about it, it's probably an incredible moment for you. After all of you are embroiled in a war over mages. But maybe some of you have never actually seen a mage in action. There's something awesome about it in every meaning of that word. The lightning fires out from her hand, shoots out at the speed of light, literally. And the figure either can't dodge or doesn't. But the lightning hits him square in the chest, and you actually hear it as it impacts him. And then the strangest thing happens. The lightning seeps inside of him, and the figure glows with a radiant light. And he flexes, and he breathes out. That feels good. Thanks. And the figure runs forward in a blur and backslaps the mage. And she falls dead, her head facing the wrong way. One down. 4 down. 1 to go. That felt good. Thought I heard something. And for a moment, the figure turns his head towards the cliffside that the 5 of you are standing on. All of you are still sort of approaching it, and he just sort of quickly glances around the cavern. Clearly having heard something but not seen anything. Whatever. But as the face turns and flashes across view, well, for many, Godwin, Rian, and Lionel, it's an impressive sight. You've just watched a man who moves faster than he should, who hits harder than he should, who can absorb magic, take down an entire army of orcs by himself, and a mage. The figure is definitely a man. Just from the crack in the piece of helmet that flew off, you can sort of see one of his eyes. You can see the color of his skin. Like I said, you can sort of see the hair starting to gray. He looks older, but still very much in shape, clearly. But to Rick, even this much of the face is enough. It's Reaper. And that's what we'll end tonight's session.
Yeah, we're boned.
I'm done. I'm done. Rest of the campaign is done. We're out of here.
All right. Well,
look, I wasn't worried at Black Talon. I'm worried here.
Okay, just so you guys know, I can shoot lightning, and I would do it, but I know it won't work, so I'm just not going to. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Now that we've seen that,
I know it's not going to work, so why bother wasting
I
it?
I have accomplished this feat in a past life.
Yeah.
Amazing session, Nathaniel.
Thank you.
Nathaniel.
Thank you very much. Ooh.
Sorry, I'm just
I know,
processing.
I know some of you were thinking, oh, I wonder if Reaper's showing up, but there you go.
I just couldn't remember his name. I'm like, is it Downfall? Is it Fall Back? Is it
Floor punch?
What is it?
Punch floor. Yeah.
That's mysterious. I actually see that. Is it Downfall? Yeah, and then Richard wrote Reaper. Yeah, thanks. Spoilers.
Downfall would have been a good name.
Yeah. Spectre, Blofeld, Wraith, David.
Too bad he didn't get to choose a name. I'm sure he would have liked Downfall better.
He did not pick his name.
Yeah, we're boned. Why let you mommy know?
Hey, that's 2 characters that I didn't pick the name of.
So, yeah, it's true. There it is. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
When we return, if you can believe it, there are 3 more sessions in Season 3. And we will be back next time with Session 4 entitled Fanning the Flames. Until then, thank you very much.
Bye.
Take it
everybody.
easy.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.